Yes, good people, welcome back to Chelsea Perspective. I hope you're all doing well. Welcome back to another Blue Morning Show. We have quite a lot lined up. We'll talk about the managers, Nagelsmann, Luis Enrique, Lampard also is coming into this, being brought into the discussion with regards to him being the temporary manager until they get the man they want. They want to take their time this time. They're not in a rush to do that. I don't know whether to believe that or not, but it is believable given the situation we found ourselves in. More importantly, I hope everyone is doing well. Quite a lot to talk about. Hopefully, some panelists will join me here on the panel so you can have a diversified opinion, plus your own opinion. More importantly, Leandro, if you're watching, just remember I haven't forgotten about you. I know I have not reached out to you to ask how you're doing, but just know I haven't forgotten about you. More importantly, Vivel, CFC from 343 Dilemma. Hi, you. I know it's you. Says big up. I says, big up, coach. Big up to you too, brother. I hope you're doing well. And please, as you join in, do take some time to drop a like on the stream. The likes do go a long way. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. We have 6 likes. Let's get it up as soon as possible. Here we have also, Viva. I see you like the man. You feel like he's the reason why Graham Potter was let go. That wouldn't have happened easier as quickly as it did, or maybe earlier than we all anticipated it will happen. But more importantly, nice to see you. I hope you're doing well. Let's see what we have. JC says, big up Kuchila. How are you? A second day of sunshine. Summers are coming. Yeah, you can say that. I'm feeling the heat here a bit. So the weather is changing from too cold to a bit hot now. Or you can say an enjoyable weather because soon it's going to be too hot. But more importantly, I hope you're doing well. Let's see what else we have lined up here. Let's start with the topics immediately and not waste time too much. And then before we go into the match preview, I want us to talk about this. This says contact between Chelsea Football Club and Julian Nagelsmann will continue today in order to make a decision on both sides, with German coach favorite candidate since Sunday. Luis Enrique remains one of the names in the list. No contact with Tite, Spalletti, De Zerbi, despite leaks. Those we know were all nonsense. But in the case of Luis Enrique, I think it's getting more serious, and I don't think you could say, if you want to talk about Nagelsmann, you could just say he's one of the front runners, but not really the front runner to be, if you want to be specific about it. He's one of those. I don't know how else do I put it to be correct about it. It's not the front runner because it's not just him. Enrique is being seriously considered. So if you're in the chat, I want to know from you, excuse me. I want to know from you, which of the managers do you prefer? Do you prefer Enrique or Julian Nagelsmann? I've seen people make the argument that Enrique, he hasn't had experience outside La Liga. You could say the same. You could say the same for Nagelsmann. He hasn't had experience outside the Bundesliga. Both also have had experience outside those 2 leagues that I just mentioned, because they've all done well in the Champions League. Luis Enrique has won it. Nagelsmann took Bayern to the quarterfinal stage, correct me if I'm wrong, and took Leipzig to the semifinal stage, correct me if I'm wrong. So both of them have had experience outside the respective leagues that I just mentioned, as people are saying. So that argument doesn't make sense. To me, both are good managers. Nagelsmann is excellent. Also, he's proven that he's good at working with young players. Same also with Luis Enrique. If you remember his World Cup team, lots of young players there. Plus, his Barcelona team has had young players there, and he also coached the Barca B team which gave him the opportunity to work with young players. And probably you could say he was instrumental to a lot of the young players that later graduated to the Barca senior team, main team, if that makes sense. So for me, my choice would be the more experience of the two. Nagelsmann is still young. I get it. He emerged onto the scenes only in his managerial career. Though the biggest stage maybe, let me just phrase it that way. But the truth remains, he's not experienced. He's gained experience, but he's not as experienced as Luis Enrique. So there are stuff probably you could say he hasn't witnessed as a manager, and probably would have to learn that. It has to happen to him. But that's experience for you. He has to witness that somehow to learn it. You could say for Enrique, he's been there, done that, and seen that, and no matter how you say it. So I'm just saying, if you ask me, that's my choice. If Nagelsmann end up being the one that the club hires tomorrow, I would take him. He's also a fine manager. So I want to get your thoughts of the two managers, the two front runners. We know Luis Enrique. I'll show you something on the screen very soon. Nagelsmann, both are good managers, excellent actually tactically. But I want to get your thought. Which of them is your choice and why? Just be specific. And please, there's something I want us to start doing here. I want us to start doing here. If you're typing something, bulk it together. Don't type it one by one. If you type it one by one, it's going to force me to turn on slow mode, which doesn't. But if you bulk it up, you don't have too many comments at the same time in the chat. That would be better. Big up, coach. Big up to you too, Chelsea till I die. Always nice to see you. JC, did I skip your comment? Let me see. I skipped this one too. Another Potter, the boy gives everything. Yeah, to me, that was why although I've changed it, I have to accommodate the Nagelsmann, Luis Enrique topic. It still felt like Porter was still in charge, but we'll get to the match in a bit. Right now, we're talking about the managers because that's the hot topic right now. Two of them, Luis Enrique or Nagelsmann. Which of them do you want and why? I want to hear from you. JC says, big up, Coachella. How are you? I'm doing well, brother. Secondary, yep, I think I've read that one. Maybe I skipped that one from Agbo. Agbo, my brother, I hope you're doing well. Let's see what else we have here. Coach, you have Lampard on the short list. Yes, I saw something. I just wanted us to talk about it and knock it out. I don't think it's going to happen. Not short list for temporarily. Some people are saying that the club are considering, if they're not able to hire from the two front runners, they're going to hire Frank Lampard to be the manager. You can say the interim manager until they get their man. I think that may well have been some nonsense because he was at the stadium. So I'm not saying, truthfully, I believe that's the case. But let's talk about it. Would you take him as an interim manager until the end of the season? To me, it's a huge no-no. I wouldn't even do that. Big up to you too, Chelsea till I die. I hope you're doing well. And Chelsea 254, I hope you're doing well. 10,000 passes, 0 shots on goal. Enrique Iglesias. It depends who you're playing with, who you're playing against. If we're being honest here, yeah, it depends on how they defend. The chances are you're not gonna go start punching people, pushing them out of the way to get a goal. I know where you're coming from, but elaborate. But I get where you're coming from. Nagelsmann young, unbeaten in Champions League this season, which yeah, I respect it for that. Like I said, it's my choice. You have your choice. I have my choice, and I've experienced why, if you give me the opportunity to take one of the two, that I take Enrique because he's more experienced. Nagelsmann, I get it. He's done well. He's proven that age isn't nothing. If we hire him, I'd take him. At first, I was more into us getting Nagelsmann than Enrique. But after taking my time to think about it, I think Enrique is the more experienced of the two and have learned a lot. Nagelsmann, as well as he's done, he still has a lot to learn. But if you hire him, I still think he'll do well. That's not me saying he will not do well. Chances are, Eugene, I get your argument. If we say between Enrique and Lampard, you say Enrique one time. So you get my point. So of the two managers, I would take Enrique. But I don't know. The rumors are that it will eventually end up being Nagelsmann. But let's see what happens. Enrique is desperate for money, if that's how you see it. CFC fans are in for the hype always. That's why rumors sell. We're a big club. If anything is happening in Chelsea isn't included in that, then it's not serious as long as it's football. Yes, people, we have 10 likes already. Let's get it to 11. We have to get to 100 likes before the show ends. Please keep dropping the likes. The likes to go a long way and help us reach as more people as possible. Blue morning to you too, brother. Always nice to see you. Big up, coach. What do you feel about the news that Enrique is taking a plane to London, not a long board? I don't know the distance, but that explains that it's not a long distance to travel. Here's the thing. I'm happy about that. I like him. I like Nagelsmann, but my preference of the two is Enrique because he's more experienced. And I think he's proven one thing I like about him. People, yeah, I get it. The 1,000 passes, no goals from Eugene, for instance. It was a concern for me as first, but if you know him, if you've done your research, he's actually Pep Guardiola with a more pragmatic version of Pep Guardiola. That's who Enrique is, and he's shown that is capable of adapting to the strength of his players, not just forcing them to adapt to the tactics or approach that he wants to implement. I don't know if that makes sense. So my preference of the two managers is Enrique. If he gets it, I'll take it. If Nagelsmann gets it, I'll be equally happy. Both are very good managers. The day any coach will come to Chelsea and realize that Havertz is the problem, that's the day Chelsea will start doing well. That Havertz Sam is still working on this coach. Like I said, we'll get about talking the match in a bit. Right now, we're talking about the managers and Agbo. If you're listening, your thoughts. I want to get your thoughts. I want to get your thoughts as to which of the two managers do you prefer and why. I want to know. We're here to learn from each other. So let's see. I believe we should be realistic and stop this fantasy. Kai needs to be benched, and Jose should come in. That's the only real. Here's the thing, because it's your opinion. Nothing. You can't tell me that's the only real thing to do. Plus, I don't know how it's. I agree. Maybe Kai should be benched. Maybe he's been overplayed because he's been one of our best players. So the man they kept playing him week in, week out, even when I don't know, he should have had he been rested for a game or two, chances are he'd still be doing well. But he was awful yesterday. Yes, Kai needs to be benched as soon as possible. I agree with you, but right now we're talking about the two managers. Let's not be flip-flopping from topic. It can be very exhausting, please. Do you want Luis Enrique or do you want not Julian Nagelsmann? I'm not really interested in the Frank Lampard talk. I think it's just rumors because he was at the stadium and people had to, pick him, add them to the rumors there that the Chelsea are looking to bring him in as an interim manager until the end of the season. There's a chance. If you ask me, I'd say he probably is sponsoring that one because he wants an opportunity to maybe them saying, you know what, this is the guy we want. We've got players that are around Nagelsmann's age. That might not be a good thing. That's another solid argument you've heard from people. But I'm not sure what to say about that. Coach, wow, it's a first. This is a first time I have heard you use the word nonsense. And this is after Potter's tenure is over. I thought you could have used this word much earlier during last 6 months. Here's the thing. I use the term nonsense when referring to rumors that I don't believe, or rumors that I believe are just manufactured to align with what we are seeing. For instance, in the case of Lampard, that rumor may have been, manufactured because he was at the stadium and the cameras were on him also. So they knew that if they come up with such rumor, it would be very believable to people. So I'm not shocked at that. So if you're watching, if you haven't, keep dropping the likes on the stream. I don't have to put up all the time to get you to like the video. The likes to go a long way. And I want to appeal to those of you who are watching that hasn't dropped a like on the stream. We appreciate you watching. Watching alone does go a long way. But if you can do us one more favor, take a second to drop a like on the stream. That will go a long way. Thank you so much. Vivell and Stewart and Winstanley, main candidate CFC. I mean, the three sporting directors Bali appointed are only scouting for Nagelsmann. I heard that too. But if they are interviewing Enrique and his en route to the UK, which means it's serious, which means that they haven't say specifically it's Nagelsmann or bust. Big up to you too, brother. I hope you're doing well. The sensible option is Enrique, but new fanboys love the media hype. Like I said, my preference is Enrique, given that he's experienced. Brendan Rodgers will be our next manager. They're not even looking at him. They're not even looking at him. So you can elaborate. Don't just tell us Brendan Rodgers will be the new Chelsea manager. Why do you think so? I really want to know. Yeah, elaborate a bit. Thiago to Nagelsmann, where have you been, kid? I get where that is coming from, but Thiago is a very respectful person. He's an exemplary professional, but that highlights the fact that his inexperience. Again, I get it. He's been there now. You could say at least 10 years since he started managing, and he's proven that he can square up with the big boys. And he's managed a big club such as Bayern. Leipzig is a big club also. So no taking that away from him. But the fact remains, Luis Enrique is the more experienced of the two. Luis, for sure, he looks tougher than most candidates. And yeah, and I know people don't give him much credit because of the players he had at Barcelona. But beyond that, he's proven he's capable of doing more. Let's see what we have here. How these people are funny. How Nagelsmann win Bundesliga and unbeaten in Champions League if he don't have a respect from players. No, they're seeing things from the perspective of his age. It's just, I think it's just something, and you could say, how, for lack of a better term, what would I use? It's just to make you understand that he's maybe inexperienced, not as experienced as Luis Enrique may be. That's the better way to see it. Coach Enrique's Barca connections makes him less desirable for myself. They despise us as much as we do to them. It's his job, and here's the thing. Then he should go back to Barca, because you could argue, what's his name? Xavi isn't really. It's not doing that well. It's in the league. You could say he's done well, but in the Champions League and even in the Europa Cup, he's hardly moved the needle. I don't know how it's, for lack of a better way to express what I want to say. I think Enrique would do well. That's how I see it. The list of my concerns is his Barca connection. I get it. We hate Barca. I think if he's here to do a job. It's as simple as that. Remember, he's played for Real Madrid too. So I don't know how to explain that, but I get your concerns. What this experience means for Spain at World Cup. What he had to, did you watch when the game that they got knocked out? It's not for lack of not playing well. The opposition had a plan and it worked. And before that game, they played really well, if that makes sense. And he had lots of young players, and still during the Euros also, I think was it the Nations League, he gave lots of young players the opportunity to be part of the process and express themselves freely, if that makes sense. So I get it. It's not all about experience, but in my opinion, I would take Luis Enrique. And if anybody brings up the argument, the two of them they have not achieved much outside their respective leagues, La Liga and Bundesliga. I would tell you they've done well in the Champions League. Enrique has won it. Nagelsmann went as far as the semi-finals with Leipzig. Correct me if I'm wrong. So yeah, they're both good. But if you ask me, I have my choice, and I have the right to choose which of the two managers I prefer. Lampard will always be a true legend, but as a manager, again, I wouldn't say. I would say Luis Enrique or the German manager. Both of them, like I said, both of them are good, but one has to get the job. If Enrique gets it, I'll take it. If Nagelsmann gets it, I'll be equally happy. But if you ask me to choose, I would say give me Enrique, and I'm serious about that. It took me time to come to terms with saying Enrique, I think, is the better of the two options, but both are good. Just the other one is more experienced, and with experience, you've seen quite a lot, and you learn from it. Cannot believe with Drew, laughing out loud, should have beaten Liverpool 4-0. We cannot score, saw our lives. And that brings to mind, just quickly, we get to that in a bit, but I just want to say quickly, it felt just as if we still had Graham Potter in charge. Nearly everything, the changes didn't make sense either. especially when I get it. Conor Gallagher maybe should have. I don't know where he played. Actually, I was so pissed I wasn't paying attention. Really, I think the changes didn't make sense to me either. Maybe I still have to watch the game again to be more objective when I talk about it. But we're not talking about the game right now. We're talking about Enrique or what's his name again? Or Julian Nagelsmann. Now, there's a chance to sign a real manager for project, and now Bolly will make another mistake again. Unbelievable. What is the mistake he's going to make? I want to know. Brendan Rodgers is primarily proven and ready to go. So this is not you saying that he's being interviewed or he's most likely to be our next manager. This is just you drawing your judgment from the fact that he's managed clubs in the Premier League, aka Liverpool and Leicester City. I don't think we're ever interested in getting Brendan Rodgers as our manager. But that's right, way, people. We have 16 likes. If you haven't taken a second, drop a like on the stream, and also do subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Keep bringing your comments on. I want to get your opinion as to which of the two managers you prefer and why. And Eugene, thank you so much for bringing your comments together. It makes it easier because if you type it one by one, then I have to skip quite a lot. So thank you, Eugene. I appreciate that. Both of them are very, very good managers. That's how I see it. I'm so happy to get any of them. It's almost like I was lost in Sahara and suddenly I find myself in Amazon. So are you saying that the standard is low, that you take the two of them? I think those are the two of the best managers available now that are not attached to any team. Although I've heard that Ruben Amorim himself says if he has to go, he has to go. Something to that effect. I can't remember the quote exactly. Coach, what about the guy from Sporting? What's the word on the street? I just talked about him. Not much. Not much. And the only thing I've heard is a quote from him. I can't remember the quote exactly. Something to the effect of if he had to go, he had to go. Something to that effect. I can't remember, again, I can't remember the quote word for word, but something to that effect. He's a fine, from what we've seen, it's not been long there, but he's achieved in the short while period that he's been a manager. He's won, I think, it was Sporting CP, yeah, the first, what's called the Portuguese League for nearly 2 decades. I think he won a double the same year. Plus, if you watch his team play, you can see on the pitch practically he's a good, you can call him an orchestrator. The way he gets his team to play as a unit, very press resistant, as not just by dribbling, but creating passing lanes, multiple passing lanes for the guy with the ball. And in most cases, if you cover that, if you feel like you are not allowing them a passing lane, you see that the Sporting players still progress the ball. I don't know how he was able to achieve that, but that shows lots of skills from his part because his team is well drilled. He will be another good option, but I don't think we're pushing for him. With Enrique, you have to make 11 players follow each game role. If there's one player who does not follow the role properly, then the tactics will not work. This is exactly like the tactics of Pep, etc. Santiago Munoz. I like him. Like I said, he's a more pragmatic version of Pep Guardiola, if that makes sense. Social media, copy-paste opinions with experience everywhere, and people just make a copy-paste. But our board wants Nagelsmann for a reason. Let's see, whoever they hire, if they hire Nagelsmann, I'll be equally happy. But if you ask me my choice, like I said, it's Enrique for me. Graham Potter is not a mistake. Okay. With Nagelsmann, you will be treated to a high press game and a high late defense. Okay. Is it a high defensive line and a fast game similar to that shown by Klopp and Tuchel? Okay. Let me see. You don't need to read my comments, bro. There's super chat, but also my credit card. I love this guy. Much love to you. Porter was the worst manager in our history. The record show that, and it would take a lot for someone else to break that. That is some change out of the club for that to happen. Nagelsmann often changes his tactics to adjust to his opponent. Yep, that's the truth. I know that quite well. So that he looks more flexible. Looks like similar with Porter. when he was at Brighton with smart game management. My choice, actually, if I'm being honest, my choice of all the managers that would been linked with it was actually what's his name, Pochettino. Pochettino, again, he's coached in the Premier League. That's an advantage one. Plus, look at what he was able to, where the length at which he was able to take Tottenham with the players. Again, not many managers will be able to achieve what's his name. I know he didn't win any trophy with them, but to take them to the extent he did wasn't easy with the players he had. They don't spend much money there on players at Tottenham, but he was able to perform miracle. Potter is good manager, but too soft a person for Chelsea. You can argue that. They are willing to challenge the authorities who's forcing players like Havertz, etc. onto us. Some argument right there. Every coach learn every day something new. Guardiola also changed. Yeah, he's surprised. He shocked the world by signing Haaland, who's your stereotypical striker, not hybrid. A lot of people thought he would never do that. He's done that, and you can say it's working for them to some extent. Although it's cost them a little bit of problem, but he's still finding a way to. He's going to make it a perfect soon because it's working gradually. Let's see what he does with him. Hi, Coach Nagelsmann is a good coach, but age is kind of worrying for him. Luis Enrique proves to be experienced than him, and that makes him the best man. According to me, though, I will accept any comment. Like I said, the two of them will go along with Nagelsmann. If you're talking about a long-term project, Nagelsmann may well be the man because he's proven and it's what the same model that we're starting to again, we're leaning towards, like the Red Bull model. Nagelsmann has worked in that environment. He's also worked with Vivell, and there's also Nkunku. Nkunku, you could say, played his best football under him. Correct me if I'm wrong. So, even with him and Nkunku, I think Vivell, I think everything will be running smoothly. I think so, at least given the fact that they've worked together. And young play, we have lots of young players, and he's shown to be an excellent manager when he has such young, talented players at his disposal. So, but for experience, if we want somebody, if we're interested in stabilizing the ship, I think experience will go a long way, if that makes sense. Let's see. Enrique is in London with his rep. Yep, I know that. I've read that myself. Coach, hope you're feeling better. I feel so much better, but I'll go for another subsequent procedure today. So a few days I'll still feel lots of pains, but I am using a painkiller to subside, again, to manage the pain until everything gets better. I felt Kai was lacking intensity versus Liverpool in the final third, a bit to foster the Nagelsmann hiring. Bruno is basically a Potter guy. Yeah, that was why I said the whole team felt like we still have Potter in charge. So I'll try and catch up with what we have in the chart. Finish, maybe, again, move on from the managerial talk a bit, and let's talk about the game. Then after the game, we'll come back again, if that makes sense. Let's say, yes, right, Kachila, Santiago Munoz, thank you so much. Anyone has sick resource at the club? I think you had one about Enrique's situation. I heard it's a more positive than Nagelsmann. I'm not sure, but there's no way telling. There are multiple stories out there. Havertz's position has never been challenged since he's arrived, and nobody finds that weird. I wouldn't say challenge, but who do you have the challenge? I think he's the most versatile to actually play in that position. The question should be, we had, what's his name, Aubameyang, and we had Datro Fofana. Both of them are capable of fulfilling the number 9 role effectively, even in a fluid approach. Why hasn't they been given enough chance? In the case of Aubameyang, you could say, yeah, he has a back injury, but Datro Fofana is fit. And on 2 occasions, he got a chance to be on the pitch for the senior team. He did quite well. So what happened? That's what Coach cannot explain to you. Keep liking the video, guys. With just 17 likes, we should be doing better than that. The likes do go along with. Please, let's get the likes up. Enrique is the man for me with his winning record, maturity, and has the aura of a coach that players will respect. Nagelsmann is young and may not enjoy much respect. And that's another way to see it. But something else I want to say quickly is this. Enrique, if you want a manager who's all charming during press conferences and all that, you must remember he's not your man. Enrique isn't your man if you want a charming manager during press conferences and all that. you can say, I wouldn't say he's mean. For lack of a better term, um, I don't know how I'll come to that again if I find a better way to express what what I wanted to say with regards to his behavior during press conferences. You can say maybe Jose Mourinho kind of when he snaps, he can say anything that comes to his mind. Kai have to be serious about his goal scoring one-on-one with goalkeepers. Okay, but that chip was a good save though because he closed. What's his name? The Liverpool goalkeeper closed him in. Closed. He closed in Kai quickly. That Kai had no space to put it on either side, but to go for a chip. If that's the miss you're talking about, I agree. If Nagelsmann and Kunku would make for, yeah, he would really, honestly. But let's see what the club does. Havertz is a fraud, and Leverkusen should be refunding Chelsea. I wish he's put in the market in the summer. He has sacked 2 managers with this continuous wastage of chances. That is some accusations right there. But that's you. Nagelsmann is capable to work with any squad. I agree. My concern is not whether the players respect him or not. I have to tell you that. I'm just saying the difference is just Enrique is more experienced and has won more, actually. Even Chelsea latest striker who scored that chance, Kai. Okay, I don't know about that comment, but I get it. They're good players too. Chances are, if you can mix up the squad, they still do well. But let's not get into that. More than coach, you say. Just give me a second. I want to put up a poll here. It looks like the poll makes a difference in terms of getting more likes. Let me just take a second and do it quickly, and I'll come back to talking with you all. And please, if you're just joining, keep liking the stream, and also do subscribe to the channel if you haven't. The likes to go along with. Thank you so much for all your support. Give me a few seconds. I'll be back with you. Yep. I'll be back with you people. Please don't worry. Give me 1 second. The silence can be deafening, I know. One second. Yep, there you go. I think we'll have it there. Thank you so much for waiting. I appreciate your patience. So let's go on to read more of what we have there in the news. And if you see any emergent news out there, do let me know. So let's read this one with regards. It says Luis Enrique has arrived in London with representatives in order to discuss with Chelsea. I can confirm he's in England right now. As okay, Luis Enrique 100% keen on Chelsea job. Chelsea will also continue talks with Nagelsmann, favorite candidate. So Nagelsmann is still the favorite here, but they're not saying, okay, we've hired him. They're still looking, considering him and Luis Enrique. But like you did not explain, Vivell is there. He has a connection with Nagelsmann. So chances are Nagelsmann will emerge, as the candidate, as the new Chelsea coach, given the fact that Christopher Vivell is there. And Nagelsmann could also argue he's worked with more young players than Luis Enrique has. And Nagelsmann could also mention Nkunku as him being the guy that Nkunku, you could say, played his best football under Leipzig, correct me if I'm wrong, that he can also bring the best out of him. So, but there's no telling what will happen. But like clearly stated here, Nagelsmann is the favorite. But the fact that Luis Enrique wants the job, he's 100% keen on the job, and it's in England with his representatives. That makes it, you cannot say it's certain that Nagelsmann will come on top. But it's easy to look at Vivell being at the club and Kunku coming in, and that those factors may well help him be the manager. So if you're watching, people, thank you so much for joining the show. I appreciate you all. Good morning to you too, Biggie. I hope you're doing well, Biggie B. Thank you so much for finding the time to join the show. Coach, I really enjoyed the game yesterday. The only thing missing was the final goal. It's taken longer, but success will be swift. I think once it clicks, it will click. It doesn't matter who the manager is. But I'm still going to say this again also. it didn't look, again, it didn't feel as if we had the new manager. It felt as if Potter was still in charge. Everything, all the issues that we witnessed on the ground, Potter, were were all observed during that game, duration of the game, if that makes sense. But that's, by the way, the only difference you could say, I think, more intensity. I think we saw more intensity than we've seen in a while. But every other aspect of the game, the goal, again, missing goal, clear-cut opportunities and all of that, they didn't differ from things we witnessed on the ground, Potter. But yeah, we're moving from that. Let's see what we have here. Coach, yesterday, Kante was everywhere on the pitch. Wish he will perform more with the Champions. I think he will be pivotal in our Champions League game against Real Madrid. No matter the outcome, at the end of the game, remember I told you this, as long as he played, you'd look at it and say, wow, Kante was the reason we played well, was the reason why maybe it didn't get worse. See what he can see. Whenever Kante is on the pitch, he reads the game so well that even if he starts the game as a number 9, he still read the game well enough to be at the right place at the right time in our box to put in a last-ditch tackle or stop the last man from scoring a goal against us. He is that good. Kante made a lot of difference. And the moment he went off, you could say lots of confusion again in our team. I get it. I understood, again, the reason the manager had to take him off. I don't think he's fully fit yet, but that's a huge positive for us that he played that well. And I'm asking the question because I was one of those that called the club should do whatever they can to keep him. The question I was asking was whether he was still going to be effective in case if the manager decides to play him as one of the 2-6s and charge him to be more defensive, to be the more defensive of the 2-6s, and utilize him more in terms of protecting the defense, whether he still be effective if he doesn't do much running. I think he'd still be, but yesterday he still did quite a lot of running, even at 31, right? I don't know what people are seeing that they were calling for the club to sell him, cash in on Kante. He's too old. He's 31, 30 whatsoever, injury prone and all that. He's gone under the knife. Hopefully, we won't see a repeat of whatever injury it was that plagued him, that pushed him to go under the knife or to get it sorted out. But that's by the way. But Kante, an excellent player overall. Look what Kante does to you. People are in dreamland. N'Golo though shall not pass. Kante is back. Yep, the biggest key to success has been recovered. That's what, again, that's how I'd say it is an excellent. He is an excellent player. If you go back and watch the Champions League final against Manchester City, he didn't score a goal. He didn't get an assist. But you see, Kante is a big game player. Again, in cases where he leaped. Again, he jumped higher than 2 players who were on him, taller than him, and still got to the ball, except he missed it. I know he didn't get an assist, he didn't get a goal, he didn't score, but he was our best player on the day. You could argue he was the reason why we won that Champions League. Was it 22 edition? But that's, by the way, we move on from that. Let's see what else we have here. I've read that one. For some reason, I feel like Nagelsmann is the one out of the two who is brave enough to challenge the Havertz and Enzo problem. Enrique is brave. Enrique, remember, in this case, during his time at Barcelona, Messi didn't want to play on the flanks. If you follow that story, Leo Messi didn't want to play on the flanks. Enrique had to. I don't know whether he convinced him. I wouldn't say he forced him. And because of Messi, he big name at Barcelona, he does what he wants. But when Enrique came in, it doesn't make sense to play, Luis Suarez, who's played predominantly centrally, or nearly all the time centrally in his career, started playing on the flanks. Enrique had to make the change, whether Messi liked it or not. And it turns out Messi became even more effective on the flanks. And actually, the way it worked was Messi started drifting in towards the central area, and then you see I think Dani Alvarez playing more like a wing back because the space is there for him to exploit, if that makes sense. So Enrique he tells you what to do. I know he knows, he reads the game so well. He can't force him to play where, again, cause him to you could say play other people out of position. You'd have to play where suit you well and where you can give them the space to also accommodate other players in positions where they'd be at their best, if that makes sense. Santiago, big up to you once more. Enrique wants the Premier League challenge and it's determined to join Chelsea. He may succeed with Chelsea. Nagelsmann will require some payment to Bayern to broker any deal. So thank you for bringing that up. That makes it even more difficult. I'm going to bring in IBZ on the panel. I haven't heard from that, my bro, a bit. Bro, I hope you're enjoying your Ramadan and you did pray for your brother here. But we'll talk about that in a bit. Is he gone? I think he went out again. Good morning from my end, Coach Mark James. Nice to see you. I was happy with the team's performance last night, more especially Kante. Kante is a breath of fresh air. He makes a whole lot of difference. Get him 2 more games, like 60 minutes before the Real Madrid game. I think we'll be cooking on the day. Somebody told Enrique that Kante is back, and he was like, yeah, I have to take that job. Much love, people. Thank you for 21 likes. Let's keep pushing up the likes. Get it to 30, 20, 30, 40, 50 to 100 likes. We did that the other day since after the transfer market shot. I think it will go a long way for us. Good afternoon, Blues family. Ovie Joy, nice to see you. You sound like a name because my friend Ovie Sogo was here yesterday. Are you Ovie Sogo's a sister? Let me know. I want to know. But big up to you. I hope you're doing well. Pick up a perspective on everyone. Joy the boy. I haven't seen you in a minute. I hope you're doing well. Thank you for finding the time to join in the show. Kante was our best player on the field yesterday. I think he was. Yes, I have to say that. I think he was our best player. So thanks to him. Good morning, Kachila, and everyone in the chat. Good morning to you too, Choma. I hope you're doing well. Thank you so much for finding the time to join in the show. Enrique is the right man for the job. People don't think so. Some people think, for instance, Eugene Nutley thinks the right man for the job is Nagelsmann. But if you're going by the fact we have lots of young players, and if we really still want a manager for the long term, Nagelsmann is your man. I don't necessarily think Enrique is your is your choice, is the right choice. If we really want a long term manager, but if you want to stabilize the ship as soon as possible, win something as soon as possible, maybe even Nagelsmann can win something as soon as possible. But if you ask me which of the 2 managers I prefer, I would always go for Enrique, given his experience. At least that's me. But I know we have our choices, but I'll take either of the 2 managers. Both of them they've shown they're excellent tactically, if that makes sense. So thank you. If you're still watching, I want to get your thoughts. Which of the 2 managers do you want? I want us to go into looking at the game last night and the statistics and everything. And like I said, it felt as if Graham Potter was still in charge. The stats, XG of 2 point something, were better off in that department than what's his name? Liverpool. Let me look at it again. The statistics again. Let me see. Let me find it just quickly. Yep, look at it here. Expected goals XG of 2.17 of theirs 0.35. So we were the better side in terms of how well we played. We created a total of 12. We had a total of 12 shots. They had 7. We had 4 big chances, which means we could have won 4-0 in my books, if you ask me. Big chances means we missed the 4 big chances we created. Yeah, that's how bad we were. So this screams Graham Potter. So to me, that's why I say, if you ask me, I'd say it felt like Graham Potter was still in charge, and that was really concerning, really. So which means it would take a lot to change that aspect of our game. Putting away the chances, maybe we do need a striker, but the question is, what sort of striker do we need? Not just a typical striker. We need a striker who can put away chances, but at the same time still be able to participate in a fluid approach or liquid approach, like Glenn would say, and still do well, if that makes sense. Let me see what else we have here. Can we have the 2 together? One as an assistant and the other as head coach, in case we sack the head coach again, and the other can be their insurance policy. Here's the thing. As much as I don't see that happening, I think there will be clash of egos, each of which believe they are a top-class manager, and they're both top-class managers. But the truth is they don't measure. One most definitely is better than the other. It depends who you ask. They tell you who they prefer of the two managers. But we move on from that, if that makes sense. Let's see what we have here. Just imagine Enrique coming soon and spoiling Madrid yet again. His record against them as a player and as a manager is great. That's another way to see the argument. Like we've seen, for obvious reasons, like I've explained, was Nagelsmann has worked with Christopher Vivell. He's worked with Christopher Nkunku. He's worked with the two Christophers. Let's just put it that way. So chances are he may well be the likely choice. He may well be the guy to emerge as a new manager of Chelsea Football Club. There's no telling what will happen, but we follow the story and see. Like I said, I'll be happy with either of the two. Come to think of it, I think, okay, let's just move on from that one. Even Poch is in London now, and Nagelsmann is expected in London by Friday. Must be frustrating for Daniel Levy. Even if Poch is in London, there's a chance his plans may well be to go back to Tottenham. It doesn't necessarily mean he's negotiating with Chelsea. And I don't think Poch, I know we did, again, there's been mentions of his name whenever you talk about the new manager for Chelsea. But I don't think the club are considering Poch. I don't think they're doing so. But if they do, I'll take him. He was actually my first choice because he's a good manager. I've warmed to Enrique over Nagelsmann. Personally, I think he has the edge with experience. That's all there is. He has the edge with experience, and he's won more trophies. But I don't know. Some people don't trust him. Some people don't think he's versatile. You could say tactically. Some think it's just all password. I don't think that. Maybe you don't. You've not been paying attention to how Enrique plays. But I'm going to go back to saying, I'm going to go back to saying I take either of the two, if that makes sense. So yeah, thank you so much for saying that. Let's say I hope Bruno don't remain an assistant or in the coaching team. Bruno out, boys gave everything, mentality out. And he also said something to the effect of that it felt weird to stand on the sidelines without Lampard to being there. So maybe he's not even ready to be his own coach or something like that, if that makes sense. Yeah, I was just kidding, but I'll take Enrique. Look, Nagelsmann was my first choice, but come to think of it, I think we need experience now. I get it. We need experience. The owners, I think also, if they think about it, they know they need experience now. Stabilize the ship, keep everything, get everything stabilized first. Then later on in the future, if you want a manager that you can give 20 years contract, you go ahead with it. I think Enrique will still do well with the young players. I'd say Nagelsmann will be picked due to Vivell push plus connection. I think so too. But I know why I'm saying Enrique is my choice. But Nagelsmann is also excellent. Just edge. No matter how you say it, some people say, but Nagelsmann, he's played enough games. He's played in the Champions League, done well in the Champions League. He actually led Bayern to the current quarterfinals of the current edition of the Champions League. Got us again to the semifinals of the Champions League with Leipzig. So he has experience too. So it's just because you could say, but Luis Enrique has more experience, and that's the edge. Plus, he's won more trophies. Whoever, if they've hired Nagelsmann, I will still be happy. He was my first choice. But my other first choice was actually Pochettino. And so yeah, but let's see what happens. I just want my club to move on and do well. We say we need a striker, which everyone can see. Don't we have any strikers in the academy that can fill in till the end of the season? It's crazy. I don't think they trust that Fofana. Give him a chance, even if you don't want to keep him permanently. Give him a chance. I think, and on the two occasions that he's gotten the opportunity to play for us, he wasn't bad. He played well. The other game, actually, when he was taken off earlier, he was actually the most active of the whole front three. He was everywhere and had an opportunity to score. He makes good runs also. It's just that I don't know why they sent him to start training with the academy. I just do not understand. Ovie is a name from Delta State, Nigeria. Yep, I know that. And that, my friend, is also from Delta State. I'm from Enugu State. Though that's my surname. Chatting from, does that mean Germany? I haven't used that acronym before. You let me know. But that's, by the way, whichever coach will get us to take a chance in transition is our guy. Position is great, but you have the fastest guy in the Premier League. So if you're trying to look beyond position and say we need more than just position, the pressing, you could say Gengham. How do you say the Gengham pressing? The kind of what's his name? Club's kind of pressing it. I don't want a manager that will get us play again pressing all through the season. You burn out players. Pay attention to club's teams. They start well. Before you know it, he burn out all his players. Lots of injuries and all that. That's why I don't like really don't like with that sort of pressing all the time. Sometimes you got to slow it down a bit because it's humans that are playing. All board have Nagelsmann for first choice. Only Bolly making wages. Okay, let's see. I hope if they get him, I will take him. Listen, Eugene, let me explain something. You know, I've always called for Nagelsmann. If they sign him, I will like him. I will take him, and I'll be happy. I know he will do well. But you know my reason why I said if you ask me, I'll say give me Enrique. A new manager will not solve the scoring problem. You can say that. There's a chance that will be the case. There's a chance once a new manager comes in, our players will again hit another gear and start firing on all cylinders. Or maybe he'll change things around and then we'll start seeing goals. Maybe give Alba a chance or even give that Fofana a chance and we'll start seeing goals. If that makes sense. Vivel keeps thinking his name. That's for sure. Yep, that's the truth. Let's see what else we have here. Big up, Asma. I haven't seen you for like a million years. I hope you're doing well. Please do let me know. More importantly, do let me know that you're okay. Always nice to see you. Let's see what else we have here. Perspective, I agree, Nagelsmann would take a year, but I am happy as well with Enrique. Whoever they hire of the two managers, I will take them as well. Plus, he broke a lot of Pep's record at Barcelona. A lot of people don't pay attention to that. And, yeah, he got Messi playing on the flanks and Luis Suarez playing centrally, and then the rest is history. So, but he has, again, they're all both managers. If Nagelsmann comes in, I'll take him. It's as simple as that. Enrique is the one I believe. Okay, your choice. Germany. Okay, thank you. So I got that one right. I think the giveaway there is a DE usually. I think I can connect why that helped me figure it out. But welcome to the family of you. I hope you're doing well. Thank you so much for always find. This is not the first time, your first time here, for always finding the time to join in the show. I appreciate that. Let's see. Neum says, I feel so bad for Felix. He doesn't deserve this. I think he's done well enough. He's been quite unlucky. Maybe trying too much. I'm not sure. But I think if we keep him, I'll take him. But chances are keeping him won't be easy. We have a financial situation. We have to balance the books. Even if we sell players, the priority will be to balance the books first, not to get into trouble. Why people excited to get Luis? We don't have the players that can play short passes. Porter try, and you can see what happened. That is some observation right there. I wouldn't mind some counter-attacking in-game as well, given Modric and Kunku next season front line. Yeah, I wouldn't mind that. We need to, I get it, even if we like to keep the ball, we need a situation where if we get a chance to counter the opposition, let's do it. Pep does it. There's nothing wrong in being a counter-attacking side when the opportunity calls. It's a form of attack. It works, but sometimes people see it as taboo. I'm not sure, but maybe in cases where all the manager does is just to sit back and hope to catch the opposition on the break, if that makes sense. But thank you so much, guys. I appreciate that. When these Chelsea fans becomes fans of possession game, that started long ago. That started under Mauricio. I think Mauricio Sarri. Yeah. I know, again, every platform and media changed their mind. It's not personal opinion more. It's not even opinion. Okay. Thank you for that. I had a uni exam. I was busy. They said, okay, I hope you did well with your exam. Nagelsmann can take over Madrid job and do well. I have no problem with man management. He's got sacked because of conflict with Bayern director, not with the players. Yep, that's the truth. You don't need a coach for basic decisions. Felix is not a lead player, in my opinion. Thank you for ending that in your opinion. And I am done with Havas official. A lot of people are saying they're done with him. I think he was awful yesterday. You could say that. But yeah, let's see whether he remains or whether the club sells him. I think that's a good player in him, but I'm not here to defend him. I'm not his lawyer. We got our MSN, so it suits Enrique as well, right? Right. I'm not sure. List the names that you said MSN. I want to know. List the names. You can say that, measure those guys. Give me Nagelsmann. I'll make sure he will deliver a lot of trophies. So now we will come back to the managerial talk. I haven't seen anything new. I think it has been the same. Let me see if I see anything new there with regards to what's going on out there. And yes, people keep dropping the likes on the stream. We have 33 likes. We can do better than that. Even if you're watching and you're not able to participate in the chat, we appreciate you so much because your participation does go a long way. But if you can take a second to add, just drop a like on the stream. The likes does go a lot, do go a long way for us. We'd really appreciate that. Thank you so much. Let's see any news here. Oh, Pochettino is in the fray. Okay. It's getting serious here. So let me bring up this one here so we can read it. Let me see. Just give me 1 second. Let me open that window. Where is it? I have it open. Yeah, just give me a second. We need to look at this window. It's becoming interesting. I didn't know Poch was in the list. Then if Poch is there, I really do like Poch. It says Chelsea has had the most talks with Julian Nagelsmann, but none face-to-face yet. Okay. So that's important to pay attention to this. Chelsea, with that, again, the club has had the discussions with Julian Nagelsmann, but hasn't had a face-to-face discussion with him. Chelsea already held talks with Luis Enrique's representatives at the start of this week, and Mauricio Pochettino spoke with them over the phone yesterday. Both are obviously now in London. So JC is correct. This says that this means that Mauricio Pochettino and Luis Enrique are both in London. Both are obviously now in London. We expect Nagelsmann to follow suit this week and come for a face-to-face talks. So it's not certain yet. I get it. The Christopher Viver connection with Nagelsmann and Nkunku. You can during the interview you can bring up Nkunku. Again, if you prepare for an interview, if he prepares well, he can bring in Nkunku into the conversation and say, yeah, he had his best form under my tenure at Leipzig, and believe me, I can make something happen at Chelsea and all that. But these are three serious candidates. Now, I didn't even know Poch is still in contention. It's difficult to say I'm all for Enrique right now because I really do like Poch. But Poch has a huge, you could say, that's a big problem there. Chelsea fans don't warm up well to managers who's coached rival clubs, especially a manager who's coached Tottenham. We've seen that movie for part one of that movie with what's his name, a former Liverpool manager, Rafael Benitez. Even though we were doing well when he was our manager, people still didn't like him. Even though he won the Europa League with us, people still didn't like him. So Poch, there's a huge comma there. I don't know. There's a huge, should I call it a clause or cloud? Maybe the fans will not warm up to him really well. It will take some special performance from the team and him as a man in charge for the fans to say, okay, you know what, we go with Poch. But these really, from Simon Felix, shows they're considering him. He's also spoken with the club on the phone. So yeah, it's not that straightforward. So Poch is still in contention. And he's in London already, like we're told. And Enrique already in London. The only person that has not been able to travel to speak with them face-to-face is Nagelsmann. So you can't say it's done and dusted. And if Nagelsmann, again, is a front runner and they're serious about how you could say they'd be done with it by now. Nagelsmann will already be in charge of Chelsea, but maybe it is not that simple. And I think like I said, even before Graham Potter was sacked, I used to say they've learned a very expensive lesson, a very valuable lesson from the manner in which they hired Graham Potter and the problems we'll find ourselves in and the difficulty in letting him go. Then I think they're not going to be in a rush to hire anybody. But the rumors are they are seriously trying to get in a manager before the Real Madrid game. So it won't take long actually before we find out who's going to be our new manager. Modric, Madrid, Stalin, and Kunku. Oh, okay. Yeah, it makes sense. It makes sense. Give me a second. Yeah, so thank you. Yeah, we do have our own MSN. Let's see. Are we only giving Kai full match every time he scores final UEFA Champions League match, or he owes the club? I'm not sure what to make of that argument. To continue winning more medals into our trophy cabinet, okay. I think Enrique can do that with these talented players we've got in our team. Joy the Boy says, just a reminder, Tuchel's Reds lost. They lost. Yep, all the night. Nagelsmann is a loss to them. Okay, you could say that too. Chelsea manager Leicester. Enrique flies to London. We've talked about that. Club also in contact with Nagelsmann. Chelsea committed to speaking to up to 5 candidates. Also, Poch to establish a front runner caretaker to end of the season. What? I'm not sure. Can you rephrase that end part of that sentence? Nagelsmann will become Chelsea manager this weekend. Trust me. Okay. Eugene, you said Nagelsmann. For me, I'm not certain. I just said I prefer Enrique. But let's see if you're correct. You said Nagelsmann. Yes, see if you're correct. And season not ruled out. Lampard. One idea. One idea for you can say a caretaker manager if they're going to leave it to the end of the season, maybe. Now Poch going to a Real in the summer. Stay away from Chelsea. I know lots of Chelsea fans wouldn't want that to happen, but Pochettino never say anything against Chelsea like Benitez. He didn't say, yes, great point there. In the case of Benitez, he said something against Chelsea when he was still at Liverpool. So, and Chelsea fans didn't forgive him. And in the case of Pochettino, he didn't say anything, but I don't think they still warm up to him easily. If you give me this 3 managers on the screen, I'll take Poch. His experience, he's played in the Premier League, and look what the extent he was able to take Tottenham with the players he had, because Levy isn't known to spend money to buy managers the player he wants, and he's worked with lots of young players. Look at him; he made Dele Alli play so well that after him, Dele couldn't play. Havertz has had years of chances to prove himself. I wonder if any other player will get the same opportunity in the future. I'm not going to get into that Havertz argument, really. He was awful yesterday, and that's about it for me, really. I'm not going to get into the argument of whether the club should sell him or not. It's not up to me. If they want to sell him, that's their choice. Nagelsmann is underrated by fans. It was the same with Tuchel before he came to us. And haven't they both worked? I think they both worked together before. Did Nagelsmann work on the Tuchel's work clock? I really don't recall. But that's, by the way, we move on. It's no coincidence that Potter was fired just now when Nagelsmann is available. I think you're making your argument make more sense. We don't know, but if that's the case, why are they talking to other managers? Yeah, because this year makes sense. That it's no coincidence that that Porter was fired just now when Nagelsmann is available. Then it should be a straightforward process, just as the way they got what's his name, Porter, immediately after they fired Thomas Tuchel. So why are they speaking to other managers, which means they're not fully sold on him, which means they want to look at all the options before deciding what to do. So, but that makes that argument sensible. Maybe, yeah, like I said, they're not fully sold on him. wouldn't it be mad if Lampard comes in and wins the Champions League? You cannot write this stuff. I don't know if I should laugh or cry. Never say never. He's capable of doing that, really. I'm not saying, again, I know every manager is capable. It has happened. We've had managers who we didn't even give a chance and they end up winning. And it turns out, actually, they're not the best managers we've had. Again, I'm not sure what to make of this argument right now. It's just funny, if that makes sense. Because they probably want to be sure before. So we're saying the same thing. Yeah, they want to be sure Nagelsmann is the man. So since there's a bit, here's the thing: whenever there's the slightest of doubt, the slightest of questioning with regards to a decision process, then it's certainly not that decision. Even if the chances are 90% that he ends up being the club ends up going that direction, it's still, again, some percentage of again there that it could go the other way around. But I get your argument, so thank you for that. Actually, Potter was fired because we fans rallied for the greater good. You couldn't argue that. But that's, by the way, people, we're stuck at 37 likes. We should be doing better than 37 likes. So if you haven't, please do take a second to drop a like on the stream and also subscribe to the channel if you haven't. The likes do go a long way. Thank you so much for all the support. So I'm saying you didn't say Bali insist on that. So let's go into talking about the match. So if anybody else comes in, maybe later. Okay, I have Roger. So let's get his thoughts on the managers. To hear what he has to say. Roger, big up to you. I hope you're doing well. Thank you so much for finding the time to join the show.
Hola, senor.
Big up to you, brother. I hope you're doing well. But me no Spanish at all.
That's about as much as me also. I actually wasn't expecting to talk right now. I mean, literally, I just entered the backstage. Thank you.
Oh, really? Okay. And this is the first time I'm bringing you in quickly, right?
Yeah.
Because I don't like you.
I'm surprised, that's all. You know, to be honest with you, the manager's coach, I'm a little bit befuddled with each one. I think, let's be honest, none of us can read the future. Not even Bobby. Well, maybe he can. I can see they all have attributes, you know, just like a player, right? They all have credentials, shall we say? Those three chaps that you're showing on the screen. I would be happy with either. Listen, Poch comes with a little bit of baggage, shall we say, because he comes from Spurs. But we had Rafa, and Rafa won us a cup, if I'm not mistaken, the Europa Cup. Listen, if Poch comes,
Europa Cup, yeah,
if Poch comes, he won't be that popular. But I guarantee you, he starts bringing silverware to our cabinet, and we'll love him. Let's be honest.
Even if the team starts playing well immediately, people will look beyond that. But if you remember, Roger, in the case of Potter, what's his name, Rafa Benitez, I think Eugene in the chat did say something. He mentioned in Rafa's case, it was something. Again, what fueled the fans' hatred for him, or the fans not fully warmed up to him, was the fact that he said a lot of stuff about Chelsea when he was at Liverpool.
Disparaging remarks, right? He was exactly not. Let's put it this way: he was off our Christmas card list. Let's be honest. But he won us a trophy, and I respect him. And listen, he's a proven winner. He's won La Liga, I believe, a couple of times, if I'm not mistaken. He's won the Champions League. Did he win the Champions League? I forget now. I can't remember. But
he won the Champions League with Liverpool.
Yeah, he did with Liverpool. Yeah, I actually watched it. What am I saying? That Gerrard goal was amazing. Yeah,
and it was a comeback. Actually, they were losing.
Yeah, we're 3-0 down. Yeah, I was actually.
Yeah, I think it was against Carlos AC Milan. I don't remember, but it was a comeback. Yeah. But go ahead.
You know, I actually was on the phone at halftime making a tea time to play golf. I'm serious. I'm like, this game's over. I cancelled it like after the first goal. It was amazing. But
that shows you that his pedigree didn't matter to Chelsea fans. It was all about
exactly.
Yeah, what he said. But go ahead.
Yeah, listen. He didn't endear himself to the fans initially, but listen, if a manager like a Poch comes here and especially wins us silverware, then that will be in the back mirror very shortly. I guarantee you. Especially if he has a tenure that lasts over 2 to 3 years and he wins each year, no matter what it is, whether it's international, UEFA trophy, or a domestic trophy, or the league. I guarantee you those things won't matter to the fan base. At least they shouldn't anyway. But I like Nagelsmann. I would take Nagelsmann. My only reservation thus far is the fact that he is quite young. He's 35, but he's a proven winner in Germany, no doubt about it. But then again, and I mean this politely, the Bundesliga is a one-team pony ride. It really is a horse race. It's a one-team league for all intents and purposes. True, there's other opposition coming through the ranks, but it's a very lopsided system they have there. Even though I really like their 50+1% share, I think it's a very solid financial approach to football for longevity. But yeah, so listen, he comes. I mean, we're looking for the new Pep. We're looking for the new Sir Alex, aren't we? This is what we're doing basically. We're looking for the golden chalice. Let's be honest here. We're looking for someone with longevity in a perfect world, for this quote unquote, dare I say it, project, unquote. And Nagelsmann ticks a lot of those boxes. Enrique, he's perceived as not quite as flexible. He's perceived as inflexible compared to other coaches. But yeah, you're right. That is somewhat of a misnomer in some regards. But he has a resume, a vaunted resume. I would be happy with any three of those. I'm trying to think who else I would want on the list. I mean, I know you don't, but hypothetically, if Klopp is gone tomorrow, which he's not going to be, or the end of this season, I wouldn't mind.
He's admitted there's a chance he exits the club.
Yeah, there's a burnout phase, but I understand. Listen, that he's going to burn out many players. I think his EOL, his end of life, is usually about 4 to 5 years for players because of the high intensity. But you must admit, coach, when his team is running on all cylinders, it's a beautiful thing to behold, and it's virtually unstoppable. I'm talking about any team can't keep up with them when they're at their finest. Do you see what I'm saying? But
yeah, I'm with you.
That entails a lot of sacrifice. And let's say next year he's our coach, Kante, he'll play him 95 minutes plus each game, 3 times a week. Do you see what I'm saying? But he's an intelligent. He's a charismatic. I like him immensely.
Quickly before I go back to the chat.
Yeah, of course.
Your thoughts on the fact that they're considering, I don't know how true that is, according to Simon Philippa, who reported that, they're considering Lampard as a caretaker manager to the end of the season. And Vival here, as you can see on the screen, says, I don't mind Lampard as a caretaker manager till the end of the season. His win ratio is better than GP and probably better than, again, the guy, what's his name? The guy that took over from Graham Potter himself. I think we didn't say anything different from what Potter did. So would you take Lampard as a caretaker manager?
Let's be honest. Last night's game, it was a carbon copy of. If you told me, if you didn't know who was on the sideline, I think you would put £1 or $1 on the fact that it was Graham Potter's team. I mean, it was hard to differentiate. And listen. I have listened. I don't know whether. Did you watch the game, sir?
I did. I watched it. I just haven't rewatched it as usual.
Yeah, ditto actually. And did you see that they showed Frank Lampard on the screen several times? Listen, if you're a Chelsea fan, and I know you are, you have to have a soft spot for him. So I will.
But not to the extent of giving him the caretaker manager role to the end of the season.
I think he's capable of doing it. Listen, this team on paper is quite deep. In all phases of the game, they are a solid team. However, we're not clinical, coach. That's been our outlying issue time and time again for basically 2 seasons. What does he do? If I was him, I wouldn't do any. I wouldn't work on any tactics. I just have the team working on shooting. I'd order a couple of lorries full of footballs and say start shooting because it's woeful shooting. But yeah, would Frank do a good job? Seriously, all joking aside, yeah. I think, no disrespect to Bruno, I think he's more qualified than Bruno. If hypothetically we're not able to land a permanent manager until the start of next season or the end of this season, I don't see why not. I think that would be a logical way to go. He knows the team, obviously. He knows the culture. I think the players will look up to him because he is such an iconic figure in this club. And he wouldn't be a money merchant here. He wouldn't be coming back just for the money, even though they probably wouldn't pay him that much. He'd be doing.
He just needs an opportunity to prove he's still capable of doing it.
Well, that I think he would do it because of the love of the club. If
you ask me, I'd say more importantly, haven't lost his job recently at what club was it again?
Yes, it's a win-win.
Everton. Yeah, so it's a win-win. Yeah, it's an opportunity for him to say, "Look, I'm capable of doing it. It was just you, wasn't me." But let me catch up with the chat, if you don't mind, please. Big up to you, the New York guy. I hope you're doing well. Joy the boy. Is there any truth to John Terry maybe joining Nagelsmann's team if he gets the job? No, I'm not sure. Those are just rumors at this point. Nagelsmann is highly regarded, no doubt. Should there be a concern that he was in second place when he was? No, there shouldn't be. Second place is not bad. That's not second place is not equal to the second to the bottom. He's at the top, and it wasn't like it was like 20 points clear, or it was just a few points. Havertz doesn't need to be on this team anymore. We get to that in a bit. Howard Poch brings silverware when he was when he hasn't really won nothing. But you could see he could have won it if he had better players. That would be the argument. Look at what he had. At PSG, he won something too. Roger Big Up, sorry, Poch will become toxic at the minute things look like they're not working. Roger said the same thing practically, but in the from the other direction, saying if he comes in and start firing all cylinders, everybody will just follow him. Poch will be same as Rafa. Doesn't matter what he achieves, wouldn't be accepted. Okay, we're moving from that. These people who don't want Pochettino is the people who are pretending like proper Chelsea, nothing more, because he never says nothing against Chelsea. Also, Mourinho coach Man United and Spurs, and if you give him a chance, he comes back again. And some fans will take him without complaining. Sure, Poch was manager at PSG. They always win. Nagelsmann is playing in a more difficult league. Wow. Okay. Can you please elaborate in what sense we are looking for a new Pep? And then I'll get back to that. Let me catch up with what we have in the chat, and I have some members in the chat here to get their comments. Then I'll highlight this and come back to that question in a bit. We have the squad to win everything. Just need a coach to put icing on the cake. Okay, my bro Bobby, big up. I think Bobby was the first member here. Respect to you and I appreciate that. I will not disappoint with the promise of what we want to be doing for students every month. We'll start doing that at this new month by the grace of God. If we don't have enough, I'll make it up and do it. Bless up the panel and the chat. A team playing without a striker, winning about not scoring goals, winning without not scoring goals. I'm not sure. I think something is mixed up there. What's the definition of insanity? Is that your definition of insanity? We need a striker, but the question is, what sort of striker do we need? Proper Chelsea. Well, I like both Nagelsmann and Enrique at Chelsea in their turn, 18 months each. Okay. Smash the like button, people, says my brother Bobby. Yes, and please do subscribe to the channel if you haven't. The likes to go along with. Thank you so much for all the support. Appreciate that. Always nice to see you guys. If Klopp leaves Liverpool, I would pay for his train ticket straight to the bridge. Some argument. Was that a portable yesterday evening? I think it was the same. But the only thing, I think there's a slight change. Excuse me. Sorry, I had to cut. There's a slight change in terms of the pace. Maybe, I'm not sure. I have to rewatch it again. Roger, can you please advise what was Potter's style of football that was implemented at Chelsea? I'm going to highlight this one too. Let me catch up with everybody's. Just for the love and the integrity of the player, Frank should just say a fine ex-player and a legend. I'm not sure. Okay, just talking to Mikael. Nagelsmann and Kunku doesn't equate vibes. It just makes us Leipzig. Even though you weren't here when Mikael said that, you still had to go back to it. Bolly needs to do better. Pick someone else. Much love to you, brother. Not in the link. It's in the group, Bobby. You have to scroll up a bit. Lots of conversation going on there, but I'll send it back again. Potter is good manager, but seems like he wants to put lots of innovation immediately. Then he lost himself. Like I said, I think Roger and I argued the same thing. We thought he was trying to do too much at the same time. Roger, didn't we?
Strong possibility that's the case.
Yeah, that's a possibility. He was trying to implement so much of his approach at the same time, not taking it gradual. That was one of the things we argue was one of his biggest problems until I gave up entirely. Adrian, nice to see you, brother. It's been a minute, 46 likes. Let's get the likes up, people. Difficult to win games when we struggle to score. Our only proven goal scorer, Alba, has been sidelined. I don't know what happened. That's concerning. And then the other player who's looking like, again, who's a talent, which give him a few games, and I think 4 or 5 games, I think by now he'd be putting away chances because he had opportunities, clear-cut opportunities in the 2 games he played, and missing it wasn't his choice, wasn't his fault. Meanwhile, we're seeking... Sorry?
I don't think he has the legs.
You mean Alba, yeah. Okay, meanwhile, we're seeking goals from players who have never been prolific in front of goal. Wow. Okay, where's Bobby? Bobby Fevi, is it gone? Luis Enrique always leaves all the clubs he's coaching midway. Like I said before, even though I like him, I don't think he'd be a long-term manager. If you want a long-term, then start with Nagelsmann. Nagelsmann also haven't tasted the likes of, you can say Leipzig, Bayern Munich, plus the rumors that Real Madrid want him. There's no guarantee he stays forever too with us. Poch will not be accepted by most Chelsea fans. He will need to win the league and the Champions League every season. For sometimes
only Bobby, only.
Yeah, only Bobby will say that. So, Roger, here's that question for you before I go to Bobby quickly. 2 questions here.
Yeah.
Let me see how you're able to merge them together before I go to Bobby. The first one says, it says, Roger, can you please elaborate in what sense we are looking for a new Pep? And then the other one he says, was the Potter ball evident yesterday? I guess that was the question. Roger, can you please advise what was Potter's style of football that he was implementing? These and these, if you can, measure them up together so quickly we can bring in Bobby.
Yeah, well, the first one's easy. It's idealistically, we're looking for someone in a perfect world. You know, we're looking for someone that is modern, that is flamboyant in the sense that it's entertaining football, and progressive, and obviously successful, and that's what we're looking for. Someone in.
And I do agree. If you hear the names of the managers we're looking at, you say that's the case. Sorry for cutting you off. Go ahead, Roger.
No, I'm not talking about ticky-tack football. I'm just talking about a dynamic way of playing that's really entertaining. Because don't forget, this is, for all intents and purposes, an entertainment. Like when you pay money to go to the movies. You pay money or you watch the game on TV and you do so because it's entertaining. That's the only reason. Okay? And therefore, it can't be like boring. Yes, of course, we'll take a really non-entertaining match, but we win it each time and brings a silverware. Yes, but optimally, we would want it to be entertaining. So that's what I'm talking about, where it's where you're efficient and you win constantly, and you're well, I don't know about revolutionize the game. That's so rare indeed. But that's what I meant by in the Pep sense. You're looking for the perfect manager to take us for the long term. That's what I meant by that. With regards to Potterball yesterday, yeah, it was very much playing. The only difference was the fact that we basically had an N'Golo starting. Listen, he's played a 3-5. Well, it wasn't really a 3-5-2, really. I think he answered that in his post. It was a 3-4-3 with Zhao coming in a diamond, stepping back and having a diamond midfield for most of the time. That's what he alluded to. So it was very similar. I think it was a lot more defensive-minded by flooding the midfield than we've seen more lately. But yeah, this reminded me of Potter's very first game for the most part. Very similar setup. But that's it. And what I meant by that was, look, you've got 39 shots in the last 2 matches. And yeah, and another thing is, listen, you've got to admit we've been unlucky. I mean, one of the goals, was bloody offside by a laughs, just by a millimeter, it looked like, on the replay, on the VAR. So we've, yet again, I think, out of the last 4 or 5 games, we've scored like 6-7 goals, or I think it's 7 goals, and they've all been offside or it's come off the elbow. So listen, that's why when clubs get relegated or lose matches, it's because they don't have Lady Luck on their side, and that seems to be the glaring factor here. Where
I can't
we're
do
not
that,
clinical.
Roger.
But
I'm
it's
sorry,
true
I
though.
can't.
This is
let him drop.
No,
let him drop. Let him drop.
I can't put this
let
on
him
luck.
drop, Kashan. Let him drop.
No, I'm talking about that invariably. I'm not talking about us specifically, but this is what happens. You see a team getting eliminated from a tournament or a cup, or however you want to talk about it, and they're the better team, but they don't win. It's because they don't put the ball away. Does that make sense? Because listen, how often do you see a team that is better than their opposition, but yet they haven't scored? You see that quite often. That's the one thing we love about football compared to a sport like the NFL, which you never see. It's like 99.9% that's not the case. But you see that quite often. And you do need luck to win a league or thing. You have to have less injuries. You have to have the ref give you calls that go your way, etc. Do you see what I'm saying?
I understand fully.
That's what I'm talking about specifically.
But not with Kai Havertz up front. I'm sorry. He needs Jesus. He needs more than luck. He needs more than luck to score that ball.
Listen, I like Kai a lot. I really do. But he's not a number 9, and he never has been. He's a number 10. He's a second striker, and we know this.
He's not a second striker, because a second striker.
We're still talking about the managers right now. So, Roger, have you answered the Bruce question? I want us to move on. Right, you want to add anything, because I want to bring in
for
Bobby
Germany.
Yeah.
So basically, that's what I saw. But listen, it was a beautiful thing to watch N'Golo play. But yeah, as for the actual, this is what I see when Potter. You couldn't tell that wasn't Potter coaching last night. It looked very similar in many stances of the game.
It felt like Potter was still in charge.
Yeah. From what I could see there, that was my first impression.
All right, just quickly. Enzo is so slow. Why on earth aren't we trying to pair him with Zakaria? We're still not balanced. So once Kante wasn't played in a position, was he played? I'm going to look at that pairing again where Kante played. I was so angry I couldn't even. I wasn't paying proper attention to where anybody was started the game. We're still not balanced. So once again, we're over relying on Kante. Unfortunately, that seemed like the case yesterday. Let's see what we have here. Nagelsmann is best for innovation. His world class. Poch is a pro max of Graham Potter. So that's definitely a big no. Wow, what a way to put it. Alba was playing video games yesterday while Chelsea was playing against Liverpool. But again, he's injured. Unfortunately, that is Nagelsmann. That's what happened. He says his girlfriend was leaking tactics in builds. Again, the build, that's the sports news outlet. So that's not good, really. Do we really trust the board to hire the so-called perfect manager? I think it's not about the board right now. All the sporting people in the other club do have a say right now. Probably you could say that's why it's taking a bit more time. Coach, I want Enrique after yesterday. We need a coach with a big ego than than some of the players we have here. I've read this one from my bro here. Zero pressure in attack, says Eugene. Yeah, some argument. I think we need to balance it up very well. That's slow, Bobby. Yeah, that's why I said offensively we're excellent, but we're being poor in terms of protecting our defense. But you can say we weren't in trouble that much yesterday. So that was the list of my concern. Not putting away the chances was just the biggest of my concerns. Zakaria, if you let me help you finish it. Can someone define luck for me? Go get a dictionary, Courtney. I know you know exactly what you're doing.
I don't know what he means by luck because Kai can't shoot. Like, you don't need luck he needs to learn how to shoot. Like,
okay, well, I beg to differ. You know what? We have a European Champions League to show that he can shoot. So I beg to differ.
He had an open goal. Come on, don't.
No, it wasn't an open goal. That was
That was 2 years ago. This year he has 6 goals. Yeah, I'm not saying he's not talented, but he's not a striker. That's it.
I never said he was a striker.
But he's been a striker for 3 years.
Let's move on. Let's move on from the Kai argument. We'll get back to that. It was South's first ever selection and first game in charge. This says economics. You want a style of football which is simply comes with our choice of coach. We've got such a big squad. Just add a DM and a striker, and Enrique will give you that. So you are for Enrique. That's what I'm seeing. We cannot make another mistake with Felix, like with Kai Havertz, because for basic decisions, you don't need a coach. Execution, you don't need a coach. Kai is terrible, and it's not the goal scorer. Another player Chelsea overpaid for. Some argument there. See what you opened the Pandora's box. Bobby, whenever you're ready to speak, I want to get your thoughts with regards to the manager talks. And whether you're open to Frank Lampard being, again, he says Chelsea are seriously considering making Frank Lampard a caretaker manager until the end of the season. He's not currently being considered as long time. Please don't do that. Success. But it's open to returning in a temporary role because he wants to redeem his career. Bobby, are you there? Talk about this one. Then we go back to the 3 options we had on the screen there. I know Bobby's probably at work. That's why I always tell him whenever he wants to come in, he can come in. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I am working and distracted. But what's this?
Hello, Bobby.
This is saying Tom Roddy and Time Sports. I think Simon Phillips also did talk about that slightly. Saying that Chelsea are seriously considering making Lampard caretaker manager until the end of the season. But I'd argue against this because I think if why fire Potter if you have to wait till the end of the season before you hire another manager? Or why fire Potter and still have his assistant as a coach? It doesn't make any sort of sense. We talked about that before. He's not been considered for a long time, but it's open to return in a temporary role, which makes sense because he probably wants an opportunity to redeem his managerial career. Your thoughts on that one before we go into the 3 managers we have lined up that we've talked about before. But your thoughts on this, guys, here, on this particular argument. Topic here, so to speak.
Yeah, 2 quick things. Lampard being there yesterday, I'm not sure we can read anything into it. The interim, it just doesn't seem likely, to be honest. The interim job, more especially as Enrique is actually in London today talking to them, and he is quite prepared and quite keen to start immediately. So, I mean, I don't know. I know that he's been interviewed. I was listening to another stream and they were saying, why are the owners getting involved and picking these people when they have football people? I don't know why these lies are being spread. What garbage. The owners have left it to Vivell, Stewart and Winstanley. They are interviewing, even if Nagelsmann is their favoured candidate. They have to see what is also out there. There could be someone more suitable, like Enrique, perhaps. Why? Because Nagelsmann, as I think you've just rightly said, probably needs some mental rest after being sacked from Bayern. That's a trauma. He was a Bayern fan. And two, I mean, Tuchel, he went off for months after Chelsea. He went to India, went to so many places. He's back mentally and probably physically refreshed for a job. And I'm sure Nagelsmann would like to probably do something similar, if not the same. In terms of the game yesterday, now, sorry, I lost my trend of thought a little bit. I'm thinking of some work thing.
If we're talking about Nagelsmann, he lost his job recently. Tuchel had to travel to fix his mental state, if that's for lack of a better term. But go ahead.
Yeah, thanks for kicking me back in gear. Yeah, so basically, what is clearly going to happen is that Winston Lee, Vival, and Lawrence will shortlist. They will interview, and then they will make their recommendation to the board, to the owners. Mm-hmm. It's quite simple. And what they would most likely do is accept their recommendation, unless it is ridiculous and it is against the objectives of the club. They won't stand in their way. Now, the advantage someone like Enrique has is, one, he's a free agent. It's not going to cost any money. He can start immediately, whereas Nagelsmann can't. And Nagelsmann will cost money because at the moment Bayern have two coaches and they want to make money out of Nagelsmann and frustrate him a little bit more. So if you have somebody that is better and is doesn't cost you anything, it's a no-brainer. So that's what's going on there. I mean, my only question mark around, well, I have several question marks, but one main question mark around Enrique is the defensive side of the game. You know, can he do that in the Premier League? I know he has a pressing game, which is good, but for a club like Chelsea that is meant to be competing in every competition, the pressing game is how players get burnt out if you don't rotate, if you don't make your squad efficient enough to rotate. Can he deal with the defensive side? Well, which is what brings me to Bruno Salter last night. Now, clearly, Bruno is a complete rookie coach. He was an understudy to Graham Potter. So there's going to be natural similarities to Potter. And I'm sure Potter gave him some tips and things before the Liverpool game. But one very different thing I did notice that he did, and it was a good thing, you know, can he do it consistently? It's left, you know, time will tell, and it's left to be seen, really. But certainly against Liverpool, he did something Potter didn't do. And Potter will play 2, maybe 3 in midfield and struggle because the opposition will just go and put 4 or 5 in midfield. Whereas effectively, Bruno had 5 in midfield. He stifled that area that Liverpool like to dominate. And even if they replied with more numbers, like they did at one point, sending Fabinho forward a bit more, we had sufficient numbers in midfield to still dominate the game. Yeah, there were spells of Liverpool, but, you know, there's bound to be because of the quality they have. So
they struggled.
They struggled because of Bruno's tactics mainly. And I thought that was good. Look, listen, the only thing people to blame for yesterday are the players. You know, people are going on at Guy Havertz. I don't know. They always target Guy Havertz. I think he was quite unlucky. The first goal and the goal by Reece James, I think is highly questionable, that offside decision. As usual, Chelsea score a goal and they look at it under blooming magnifying glass, whereas if it had been the other way round, they probably would have shrugged their shoulders and let that one go. It was that tight. But the biggest culprit for missing chances was Kovacic. You know, his finishing is disgraceful. It really is. And that could cost him his position at Chelsea. Because, believe you me, if we have Santos come in and is anywhere near as good a player as we hope he is, I don't really see longevity in Kovacic at all. Because as much as he does a few fancy things in midfield and he's very good at dribbling and he does usually find a pass, not always. In that final third, the midfield have to contribute to goals, and he
at least test the keeper.
Yeah, he was terrible, and João Felix wasn't that much better. And João Felix, he needs to be careful because yes, he's on loan, and really sometimes players need a whole season to get used to a new team and come in. And I'm still for him and would still like to keep him, but if he keeps playing and hitting posts and missing chances, and if he keeps doing that with Nkuku coming in, people may not feel so sad if he goes back to Atletico. I want him to start finding the net more regularly. Yeah, I mean, what can we say? Is damage limitation against Wolves? I hope Bruno is sensible. Yes, we still have to go out and try and win. We only have 38 or is it 39 points? I don't think that is safe per se. Wolves are not exactly one of the strongest teams in the Premier League. We have to go out there and win. However, with an eye on the Champions League game against Real Madrid, which is huge. And it brings me to the conclusion that I wouldn't mind seeing either 60 minutes or 65 minutes of Kante like he did against Liverpool, if he feels he must play him, or rest him completely, since it's a pretty tight turnaround between games. Reece James is a slightly different thing because Reece, although he's just coming back from injury, because of the big game we have against Real Madrid, Reece James could possibly need the game time. So I would play him for 65 minutes and take him off.
Let's talk more of the players when we get to the match review, because we actually deviated completely from the managerial talk.
Okay, so sorry, that's me.
No problem.
Back to the managers. I think there are still those that they will interview. I mean, to be honest, Pochettino is not going to be liked at Chelsea. Managers go through spells where things don't always go well. And if he has a dip, fans are going to turn on him far easier.
Oh, yeah.
That Spurs smell will follow him around as far as Chelsea fans are concerned. We're not Spurs. We don't covet their managers because they're not successful. He's won nothing. And they covet ours. So I think it's slightly dangerous territory for him, to be honest. I mean, he's a coach, he's ambitious. If he's offered the job, I can't see him turning it down, but it's not going to be comfortable for him, and it will divide the fan base. Will they want that? I don't think so. Do they know enough about Chelsea culture and the Spurs issue, the dislike between the two clubs that has been there? The 1965, was it 65 or the FA Cup before that? The whole Venables squad when Spurs beat us, I've forgotten the competition, and the way that went. And of course, in 1975, when they sent us down, however, to be fair to them, it was either us or them. We were crap on the day. They give us 2-0, and they went down, and our fans invaded White Hart Lane, and there was dust-ups all over the place. So there's never been love. I mean, we've beaten them in certain situations. We deprived them of getting a Champions League spot in 2012 by winning the Champions League. So there's always that spite, which transcends to the fans as well. So do they know this? I don't know if they do, or do they appreciate it? I don't know if they do. But however, there are better candidates than Pochettino out there. I hear also shortlisted is this guy from Eintracht Frankfurt, if I said that right. Don't ask me his name. I can't remember, but he is being looked at. Obviously, Amorim from Sporting. I think he could be a dark horse there. He could be somebody that could be blindsided in, but he will cost money, and he can't come till the end of the season, as with the Frankfurt guy. And Mourinho, I don't think will even be shortlisted. And that's it, really. That's it. Was Frank Lampard interviewed? I would be very, very surprised. Very surprised indeed.
Same here.
All right, thank you for that. Let me catch up with the chat. I'll bring Eugene, Keshawn, the New York guy, in to speak his mind on what manager he thinks will take over. Soon I wish you start reviewing the match as soon as possible. Coach, I just find that we have Enzo playing deep with his pace. He cannot be too adventurous. We need him higher up the pitch, and quick Zakaria can give him the confidence to do so. But I don't think Zakaria gets a chance in this team. It doesn't look like it. Even Bruno didn't give him a chance. But let's see, maybe a new manager comes in. Maybe Nagelsmann, who knows him quite well from his time at Germany, will most likely give him a chance if he becomes emerges as a new Chelsea manager. We'll see. Havas leaving off UEFA Champions League. Sorry,
can I ask you and Roger a very quick question?
Yeah, go ahead.
Just a brief one. I mean, it's not. I'm just miffed. I'm totally miffed. I mean, clearly at the moment that we're struggling to score goals. I mean, why? And Aubameyang, he's no longer a Chelsea player. Really, he's just contracted to the club. I've already forgotten about him.
Exactly.
But why not play Detro Fofana? I'm confused. Why? Give him a chance. That guy will probably be the person to get the goals we're looking for.
Because Kai scored during the Champions League final. That's why.
No, I agree, but he's not. He's seldom even on the bench, and I assume it must be what they're seeing on the training ground. I assume if it's not that,
the only
then
thing
I have no idea.
It's the only thing that will make sense more than him. More than Havertz scoring in the Champions League final. Sorry, is that
no, Havertz does a lot
I don't
more.
know who that is.
No, that's Keyshawn, isn't it?
Yeah.
No. It's you know what? It's not just living off that Champions League final. Let's be serious. We joke about it, but he does.
It is though.
No, it's not.
That's
he does a lot.
No, that's what you brought up as soon as I said what I said about it. You just brought up something that happened 2 years ago.
No, but because you insinuated he can't shoot, and I was just saying that. Listen, if you have a look, like I think Coach will concur, in deeper lying positions, he produces some beautiful passes. He's not a number 9. He's at best a number 10, right. which Germany uses him. And if you watch Germany play, he's amazing for Germany.
Okay, so do we have any use for him on this club right now? If we have a bunch of 10s, and we need a striker. And he's not striking. He's not producing. So do we need him on this club?
Right, that's no fault of his own being played out of position.
I'm not saying it's his fault. But is he a valuable asset? Is he conducive to winning on this club?
In my
because I don't see the result.
That's fine. In my opinion, yes. I think under the right circumstances, he can excel. I think we have a tremendous amount of number 10s that are, let's be honest here, not clinical. Generally speaking, historically there haven't been. You can argue that Sterling has been, but then again, as my old former coach used to say, my grandmother can play better than him, and she's dead. That's what he used to shout out. But it's like Sterling played in a great team with great players around him. But let's look at it. You've got Pulisic. I can go through the whole list, the myriad of number 10s that we have.
Let's see what we're doing here. It's not helping.
Every game,
1 second, Keshawn. Let's round off with the managerial talk. Then when we go to the match review, we talk about Havertz. Please, it's not helping to go back and forth like that. I don't think it helps. Havertz is living off
to answer Bobby's question. To answer Bobby's question, that can only be the only logical answer I can give is what he's not doing on the training pitch. Perhaps what the coaches are seeing. If it isn't that, then...
He's actually not been bad of late, except that last game. That's my own opinion. Let's just move on from that. When we get to the match, we'll talk about it. Havertz is living off of the UEFA Champions League critic. His goal was Ederson's mistake. Let's be brutally honest. I don't agree. He rounded him, no matter how you see it.
Wasn't a mistake.
Even if you think Ederson come off his line so quickly, he rounded him. Send Enrique Iglesias to Sports. Good to see Frank Lampard on the stands. Yeah, that's all I want to see there. I don't even want him to be the caretaker manager. At this stage of his career, we have to use kind of sparingly, not set up to have to rely on him. Otherwise, he gets injured again, and then we go back to struggling without him. I think I agree with that one there. Let's see what else we have here. The ideology of free-flowing football by our forwards should be trash. I think Bobby Fergie will like you so much. We need a striker, and it should be one that is aggressive, a bit selfish, and a super mobile. So you're defining actually the sort of striker I want. I want not just stereotypical striker. And you can get that actually from Dr. Fofana if you ask me why he's not been playing. I honestly do not know. How can Enrique football be good for us? I don't know. I'm not talking about that again. I've told you my choice. So I'm not going to be going back and forth as to arguing why I think Enrique is not Pep. Also, Enrique is not tiki-taka. Tiki-taka is something different. That's the thing. The only thing I've said, Enrique is more pragmatic Pep. That's all I said before. Coutinho, my first choice is Mourinho. Or if Ancelotti is leaving Real Madrid, he would be better. Enrique is third choice. His application to the English Premier League is still unknown. We need a strong boss. It's the only way. Those are some strong suggestions. For me, Mourinho has not been progressive enough. That's the only reason why I don't consider him. But do I think we'll win stuff if he comes in? Yeah. But after a year or two, the fans will start hating on him for his approach. Even during his second stint, fans were questioning his approach when he usually you could say goes to defending and finding space to score even after the good player, again, not minding the strong squad he has and all that. But yeah, I get it. I think for me, Ancelotti would be good, but I think once he leaves Real Madrid, probably he will be retiring. That's what I think will happen.
Possibly.
Fancy things. Remember both the Chilwell in for South. Okay. Havertz was a disgrace yesterday. I said that he was awful yesterday. But beyond that, again, he's been one of our best players of late. Actually, the midfield wasn't our issue. With the midfield, we will outplay Real. Truth is, we have too many softies in the forward. I think a lot of people agree with you. We just look like Wenger's Arsenal team in his final days. That's the truth. We need to mix it up a bit. Some people are blind. We'll talk about midfielders. May the gods of probability favor us for all the bad moments we went through this season. Maybe it's about time we start seeing positives. Maybe. You never know. Let me see what else we have here. It's Enrique for me. The orders is too young. We need someone players will respect and fear. A 35-year-old won't be respected at all. That's your reason. I think, again, for the players not respecting him really is the least of my concerns. I'm just speaking Enrique over him because of experience. I think he's proven that he can square up with the big boys and still do well. How's this what experience fast a share in people's mind? Nagelsmann won Bundesliga. He is still experienced, but if we're being factual, Enrique is more experienced. So the experience, if you say pick one, I'll pick Enrique because of his experience. But if we end up with Nagelsmann, I will not complain one bit. I'll be happy. We got one of the best young managers in the world. To tie that Liverpool team was criminal. We had so many great players. We'll get that in a bit. Maybe that's the perfect transition to that. To the match review. We had a 2-point-something XG. They didn't even get to 1. It's again, we should have won. Don't fight, guys. Kovacic is guilty by lots of platforms. Coach, when Havertz takes a shot at goal, I feel sorry for the fans that sit in that row. Because that's where it lands. Felix is too.
That was funny.
Felix is too went that high. Yep. Where he plays on the field has nothing with his finishing chances when he gets them. I'm not going to get to that argument right now. We're asking Felix and Kai to do the job of a number 9 and then slitting them because they cannot deliver for 2 rows. It's not fair. We've seen enough hybrids do not work. I agree. It hasn't worked. We have to mix it up. It doesn't have to, let it be fluid, but it doesn't have to be all hybrid players up there. Maybe that will make a difference. We have that. I get in the box in the 6-yard box. Yeah.
Felix and Havertz. That is not. I mean, the chances they have to be scoring it. Even if midfield to help with the scoring. That's why one was so frustrated by Kovacic. I mean, these were clear chances.
clear chances. They were not, your centre forwards bulldozing in and heading the ball and things like that. These were just clear cut, and it was appalling. The finishing was atrocious.
But it's been like that off and on constantly.
It's like that every game.
Mm-hmm. So it's important we mix it up. I agree.
Yeah, I mean, Potter was tactically deficient, but honestly, his players' finishing didn't help him at all.
No, but Potter had the chance to mix it up too. He didn't.
Yeah, but listen, I think Bobby summed it up, and I think a lot of other pundits have said the players didn't help him either. Last year, who was our leading goal scorer in the EPL? Wasn't it J5 with 7 from the penalty spot? So what does that tell you? What does that bloody tell you? It's, you don't have to have an advanced degree in mathematics to let you know that we have a serious issue with scoring.
No, we need scientists to decipher that.
a team of scientists, coach.
Yeah. Let me get to the bottom, please. We're going to the match review immediately. And thank you guys for 57 likes, but we can do better than that. Let's try and get it to 100 as soon as possible. 57, let's get it to 100. We can do better than that. The likes to go a long way for the channel. So thank you for all that. The problem of João Felix, he holds the ball so long. He has to be faster in his decision making with the ball, because this is English Premier League. Nobody will give you the free pace. I agree. Free space, so to speak. If Havertz scares Stewards, then Cover was probably trying to shoot down Enrique's airplane. Maybe. When Havertz gets the ball in the 60-yard box, the Stewards run for cover. You could argue that. Let me see what else we have here. Frank Lampard is more experienced than Souto. Yep. He's been there. Coach, yesterday made me realize some of the players are not taking the football seriously. We need Enrique to instill discipline. Havertz's performance, even Nagelsmann can instill discipline was amateur. Havertz's performance was amateur. Dacho Fofana can barely get into the Ivory Coast youth team. He needs a development loan. I wouldn't judge him based on that. I'd judge him based on how many minutes he's been on the pitch for Chelsea senior team and how well he's done. Honestly, I think we're just, I don't know, we're reading too much into that, but I get it. I respect your opinion. When Havertz leaves, Felix will score. You cannot say there's no good number 10 when he's not challenged or rotated. He plays every 90 minutes, Roger. I expect better from you. Really? Does he owe you that? He doesn't owe you that. Instead of spending money to buy useless players, the owners should spend money to make clones of Kante. That project will be more useful than the current one. Felix was busy juggling ball between his legs and right. I'm getting to the bottom. Please, I'll come to you in just give me a few seconds. Stop defending Havertz. He's the BTC Berbatov and definitely not Thomas Muller like some fans think. How old is he now? Remind me how old he is. Reserve weight watch. Okay. Big up Coachella, big up to you, to DJ Panel and everyone in the chat. Great news to hear Luis Enrique has arrived in London for talks today. I know you like him, but that doesn't mean he's going to be the one. He's not fit now. Big up to you, Rick James. I hope you're doing well. He gave the weights to his. Just stop, please. Other than some freak accidents in front of goal, we saw a different game of football where we controlled the tempo of game and dominated the midfield. I think we packed the midfield. It worked. Plus, Liverpool looks like they're burned out, actually. We are good from back up to Liverpool goal post. Okay. Hey guys, good to be back. Nice to see you, man. I hope you're doing well. Better go with Lucho. More experienced. Okay, let's see. Let's see what they do. But nice to see you again, Coach. That second Champions League changed some of these players' minds. We need a coach who's won it already and won it all. That Champions League gave these players a big ego. You could argue that Salto gave the fan base PTSD when he sub Gallagher on fans thinking, are you putting in this guys? I think it felt like Potter was in charge. I think the only thing the difference I saw was more intensity. Bobby, go ahead if you're still there. You wanted to say something. I just wanted to make sure I'm more caught up so that we can easily switch to the match review. Go ahead.
Yeah, just a quick comment on.
Yeah, go ahead, brother.
Just a quick comment on Kante. I mean, I've seen enough. Coach, that guy has to be part of Chelsea's future. And I hope
even if it's
giving him the Chelsea captain's armband alludes to that. He is one of the mature players that has to stay with whatever team we have for whatever minutes. Kante is irreplaceable.
He's our best player.
He is mercurial. This is a guy that is just coming back from 6 months out. Irreplaceable. The guy is, I don't have enough accolades for N'Golo Kante. What a player. What a player. He's almost the perfect player. And it's probably a blessing to the other teams that his finishing's not good either.
Yeah, for
because
real.
If it was
dominate. He would dominate.
If it was, really laughing at right now.
The only thing you can say about
Roger, let's let Bobby drop because he's at work, if you don't mind.
So I just want to add that look, he is one player that if he was asking for, what's he on? I think he's on about 250. If he's asking 280, give it to him. All the other players will just bow and say, give it to him. He's that quality. He's deserving. He leads by his actions. He's not vocal because he's a little fella, but what he does, no.
No one else does, Bobby.
Now, yesterday, sign him, please.
But what he does is he covers up, he papers up all the cracks that when he's not playing. He gives us a full sense of security, in my opinion.
Yeah. You know, they would have scored the same way as Villa did, but for Kante, there was a time the ball went out, it beat our defensive midfield. Kante was on the right, and I've forgotten who it was that was free on the left. And Kante ran past Enzo, ran past Kovacic, and intercepted. Wow. When I just
and he's the youngest, right?
Yeah.
It just looks like he's having fun out there too. He's just like having fun.
He was a breath of fresh air.
He's irreplaceable, gentlemen. He's our best player. We've said this from day one. This is what happens when he plays. We're a different team completely.
Yeah, I think this was really the structure. We packed the midfield, and he played to the right of Enzo. He was excellent. He was in the attack. He was the guy, the saving grace in the defense and all that. Honestly, give him what he's asking. Roger, go ahead. Sorry for cutting you off.
Yeah, we just have to make sure that he's used judiciously. Simple as that. We cannot play him 90 minutes twice a week. It's simple as that. Until he can prove otherwise that he stays healthy. You lose him again in the short term, oh, God forbid, you're looking at a disaster going forward. It's that simple.
And unfortunately, Roger, here's the thing. You can't live without the air. That's an unfortunate situation.
I had us listed as a 3-5-2, but Bruno stated that it was actually a 3-4-3 with João dropping back in a diamond. But yeah, I have it listed as a 3-5-2 also.
I think that's that during the game. I'll have to watch it again. I think this was what we were seeing. Enzo was a central, Kovacic is left, and this guy is right.
I'm just saying what Bruno said.
Yeah, maybe that's what he's. But I'd have to watch it again. But I believe him if he says it was a 3-4-3. Anthony Taylor had a decent game, and we still couldn't get the win. He had a decent game, to be honest. He had a decent game. To be truthful, he did well. I once said it here that the body language of this players shows Potter cannot control them. Roger disagreed, and he has the right to disagree. But the revelation after the sack shows it all. And there's no way to tell if that what you call the revelation is in fact the truth. But I was one of those that think maybe the players didn't trust him. I would take Enrique, Nagelsmann as a manager, either of the two. Yep, I've saying that they're two great options for us. However, Enrique is the more experience and one more in his career. The same thing I'm saying, Kuchila, have you changed your stance? Yeah, not right now. My first choice was Poch until I thought he wasn't on the again being considered anymore. Then I switched to Nagelsmann after listening to Declan talk about how he's worked with his work with Leipzig makes him a perfect candidate. Makes him a perfect candidate for Chelsea because we're copying the Red Bull model, which is and Leipzig is part of. But right now, I think it's Enrique.
Vidal knows him very well. That was
exactly.
It was declared that convinced me as well.
He was very. But that doesn't mean Nagelsmann is a bad candidate either. He's a good candidate. But I'll take him. I'll take Enrique, either of the two, honestly, over every other. But I still, since I'm seeing that also Poch did speak with Chelsea yesterday over the phone, I like him, but I'm fearful that there's a chance that Chelsea fans won't give him a chance, even though he didn't say anything against Chelsea. But let's see what happens. Let's see. So, Bobby, you realize now, Bobby knew before time that Kante is unique. Bobby is Bobby and some other people, a few people arguing why we shouldn't let Kante go. We argue that vehemently, do whatever we can to keep him, give him what he wants.
Oh,
Sorry?
For sure. I'm just underlining. I'm just underlining the point. You know, we've missed him for 6 months. The guy comes on. Look at how long it takes everybody else straight after injury to perform. This guy comes on and he has changed the face of Chelsea's game. That shows a special player, guys. It's not even up for discussion. They've got to sign him down. Do you know what I mean?
Very different.
Bobby, each and every time he's missed a game, Chelsea look a completely different team.
Yes.
It's been like that for years now, since he arrived, I should say. It's that simple.
The tackles, him being at the right place at the right time. He was like, how long was this guy out again?
6 months plus.
He played only 33 minutes for Potter. Only 33.
And this is with a major injury.
Yeah.
Major injury and surgery.
Yeah.
Wow.
Just quickly, let me catch up with this question. Starch. I have to capitalize on this. I have to capitalize on this one. Kante is the man, isn't he? No question. He's the man, really. Kante is back. Finally, he's back. He makes a whole lot of difference. The best, the best B2B, what does that mean?
Box.
Box to box. Okay, the box to box midfielder in the world. Casemiro cannot do what he does. Kante is it's very unique.
He's unique.
He reads the game, and his tackles, he hardly gets carded, actually. If you paid attention to how many cards he's had and how many red cards he's had all his career. Does Kante have a son in the academy by any chance? maybe we should clone him. We shouldn't even wait for him to have a son in the academy.
Well, I think he does have a son in the academy, and I saw him when I was there a couple of weekends ago.
Who?
Thiago Silva's boys.
Oh yeah, the two of his boys, right?
Well, I saw the oldest one. Maybe the younger one wasn't well or something like that. I saw the oldest one, and he's pretty tasty. He's a left foot, right foot. He's his father's son, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, France would
technical.
France would have won the World Cup if Kante was fit. Covers up so many deficiencies. Oh my goodness, I couldn't say it better than you. He covers lots of deficiencies because if he wasn't on the pitch yesterday, go watch that game again. I haven't even watched the game, but I can tell you he was the reason why we played as well as we did.
Yeah, he is. If he wasn't on the pitch yesterday, we would have conceded.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure. We would have lost. He does. He you know what? To his detriment, and I mean this in a complimentary way, he does. He actually covers up our deficiencies, and we do have deficiencies. Yeah, we do.
So you're not doing a tapping on Bobby Fairview.
No, but it's true. I know. I've said this for months.
No. So I'm just kidding. You know, I'm kidding, right?
It's to his credit. He actually Yeah, it was even shown more when what's his name, the Belgian player played for us, and he would never track back. And Hazard, when Hazard was playing and Kante wasn't, you could see it. What a difference that made. You're basically playing with 9 men, you know.
Yeah, just give me a second. France would have won the World Cup. I agree with you. Yeah. Kante was fantastic. Yes, he was. If Kante couldn't finish, would be another. He would be another Modric. He could finish too. Kante can finish. It depends on if you play him anything closer to the final third, he'll be scoring goals. I think under Conte he had that chance to get closer to the final third more often. And he got us some goals, some delicious goals actually on that Conte.
His goal against United was beautiful.
Oh, it was delicious. Kante was superb yesterday, and when he came on against Aston Villa, so happy he's back. 3 years. I don't need to tell them why they need to keep him. Even the incoming manager will say, "Please do everything you can to keep this guy." I'm sure they turned the turnaround we're seeing in terms of with regards to him extending his stay at the club was probably Vivel, who's a footballing guy and knows him quite well, says, we got to keep this guy. Check all the trophies we've won since he joined us. There is no you can mention that you will say he wasn't pivotal to us getting to the finals. Even the ones he's that good.
Facts.
He's that good. Sure. And this is something we've also, Bobby and I, and again, we are the strongest advocates that the club should do whatever they can to keep him. You don't let him go. I count him in the category of Luka Modric, those players that are so unique, even as they age, you find a way to accommodate them and have them play longer. We cannot sell him to Real Madrid, never. If you become a different animal. Enzo is so good as well, worth every penny we paid for him. Porter was seen aboard the Hogwarts Express.
Coach.
Yeah, go ahead, Bobby.
Honestly, another monster we have. If only this guy can be fit. Honestly, we've got some damn good players. Wesley Fofana, really. Wesley,
yeah.
I mean,
he's an excellent
guy, you know, he is such a good player.
Him and Reese on that right side.
Sorry?
I said him and Reese on that right side. They
my God.
Reese looked amazing also.
Reese.
Yeah, Reese is coming for the first time.
I don't think Reese is still quite there, but he's coming back.
He looked it to me.
Crikey, Wesley.
Yeah, there's still something missing. He's not fully here, but he was excellent.
Yeah.
I thought he showed burst of acceleration. He showed physicality. I'm talking about Reese. I thought he had...
and he scored. You know,
what a shot.
Doing with that offside, but
bloody kneecap is offside. Come on.
Yeah,
I mean, it's you can say it's debatable. Some people are doing that online already. We cannot miss Nagelsmann opportunity. Again, if the club gets him, I like him too. When the Red Bull model delivers a major trophy, we can talk about it. Until then, we need the Roman model. I like the Roman model, honestly. Higher experience people. That's guaranteed result. Bobby, go ahead. You were saying something.
I'm so sorry. It seems I'm cutting in a lot. I'll shut up in a minute. I'm just because I'm working.
No, don't shut up. Just talk.
You know, you know, people are talking about Nagelsmann and all that, and I get it. And I'm split. I don't know. I really don't know. But if the club goes for Enrique or Nagelsmann, I will trust the decision because that's coming from Vival, Stewart, and Winston Lee. That decision is coming from those three guys, and they are the experts. And honestly, three of them, I don't think they're going to get it wrong. They didn't pick Potter, but they're picking this guy that's coming in now. So I think we should chill. You know, if they go with Enrique, I'll say, okay, you know, hands up. It's all good. Do you know what I'm saying? Because to sit, if you cornered me today and told me, well, like you are, and told me, Vival, Enrique or Nagelsmann, who would you choose? Honestly, hand on heart, I have not got a clue. I can't split the hair between the two of them, honestly.
But do you know what's the difference, though, Bobby? As opposed to, with all due respect, Bowley and Egbali interviewing candidates, you're looking at the co-sporting directors and Vivel.
They're not interviewing.
Yeah, they're going to be the ones that are going to be asking pertinent, technical questions that will be revealing. They're going to ask the relevant questions that I assume, and I know it's presumptuous of me, but probably the owners wouldn't be asking. I think that's fair to say.
Bowley and Egbali are not there. They are waiting for their recommendation.
Exactly, they're out of the equation. Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm alluding to, as opposed to previously. I guarantee you that the questions that these three top players in the back office, the two sporting directors and Vivell, are going to be asking questions that Egbali and Bowley never asked the other candidates or asked things.
They wouldn't even know to ask.
And listen, this is presumptuous of me, and I don't mean it in an insulting way, but that's not their field. And these chaps are SMEs, subject matter experts, and I think they know what they're looking for, and they know what questions to ask. More importantly,
but we just have to trust them, and it's not their field. Even us that we've been long-standing fans, all of us, coach, we're confused. We really wouldn't know how to pick up, although we're not hearing the answers. But from what I've heard, from what's been posted, Enrique made a very strong case for himself. So
that they had to invite him for a face-to-face interview.
Yeah. I'm with you, Bobby. I have no idea who I would want. As I said at the beginning of the show, I really I'm at a loss as to who.
In my case, here's my point. I'm going to try. In my case, they're both good managers. I think we all can agree. And more importantly, whatever the club are doing right now, they're looking at the right managers. Whoever they pick, I'm all for it. But if you ask me to pick, I'll say Enrique, given that he's more experienced. Nagelsmann is also experienced. Sure. It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
That to me, that's how I see it.
I just want a manager that can boost these players, like these young kids that we have. I feel like if we have a manager that could get the best out of Modric and Madueke, I feel like all the success will just come with that once we get these guys to where they should be.
Okay, may I ask a quick question? Out of these candidates, who do you think can bring the best out of the forwards, being able to put them in a position to be able to
all can. They all can. They're all very attack-minded managers. That's why that's why it's very difficult. They all can. Nagelsmann is very attacking-minded. What's his name? Enrique is an attacking specialist. That's what they do. They all can. And here's the thing about Enrique, why I like his own. He drills his team more like Pep. He doesn't have selfish players off front. The teamwork goes from the back line to the front line. Once you get to the front line, you find the better positioned player. It doesn't have to be you. I don't know, because one of our biggest problems in most cases now, our players, once we get to the final third or inside the box, everybody wants to be the goal scorer. That's why you see one player complaining, you should have squared it to me. And we're not drilled to look up. That's why in most cases, they don't even consider look up. They take the shot before looking up, and that's start apologizing like I didn't see you. That's the sort of discipline you get in the attacking area when you play for either Nagelsmann or especially Enrique. He's into looking at you finding the better position, man. Let me catch up quickly. Let's say we get IB's thoughts if he wants to talk about the managers, because we still have a bit of time. I really want us to finish this. What's it called? The match review. That's what the banner says we were gonna do, but we'll always mix it up here. Kante is simple, and it's hard. For today's players to stay simple instead of posting. Excuses on social media. I'm gonna move on to that one. And with this, and he's 32. Yeah, exactly. He's 32. His final ball was good. He's a good passer of the ball. I know a lot of people don't give him credit for that. He's only stereotyped for his ball winning ability and all that. Enrique has a well-rounded system based on positional play. Yep, that's another aspect of his game I like. Also has the pragmatic side of him. That's why I say he's a more pragmatic version of Pep Guardiola. Also, you can say in the case of Nagelsmann, you can say he's a more pragmatic version of Hansi Flick, and also what's his name, and Thomas Tuchel. Even he's a mashup of him, Hansi Flick, Thomas Tuchel, and Klopp. He has everything they have. all-round midfielder, help everywhere. Yep, that's the truth. These coaches are not doing enough to protect Felix. I'm sorry for him and Kai. After this experience, the incompetence continues to be shocking. I know where you're going with that one. Can't take goal against Leicester City.
Want the coaches to score for him?
I think he scored against them twice since he joined us. He scored against Leicester twice, and they're all ground shots. It's been too long since I donned a Chelsea shirt and been a trophy parade down the King's Road. You want to do that again? I hope it happens for you because I'd be happy to. It'd be great if we overshadowed Arsenal's week behind a parade using the cup with the big yes. I get that. Kukurea was good also. Yeah, he was good. It made me not to feel that bad that Badiashile didn't start. He cleaned up quite a lot. He did, I think, who was that? He did for Fofana what Chalobah didn't do for Koulibaly when he was flawed. I think Kukurea, even though he was on the left-hand side, he did that for Fofana. I'm going to watch that game again, but I still can recall quite vividly he saved us.
I think Cucurella was probably chosen over Badiashile because of the assumption that Salah would be playing, and he needed his speed.
Or maybe his sweeper defender ability, maybe.
Yeah,
that's a new role. We just defined that role for him.
I can see that.
We did that actually.
I didn't think of that.
Yeah,
I think that's the reason why.
Yeah, it was
just like they didn't play. Just as in the case where Trent wasn't chosen, probably because of Modric. I think that's a fair assumption also.
Maybe it could be because they're all burned out because they struggled at the previous.
Well, no. Listen, their back line, their back four, they were missing 3 players deliberately. From the start. So that showed that we're basically up against their alternative defensive line. And there were
let me catch up with the chat. Bring in IBZ, and once IBZ is done speaking, I will skip to the very bottom so that we can start talking about the match strictly. I have no time for Vivel, Stewart, or Morgan Winstanley. Really? These people are not qualified. Okay, if that's what you think. Let me see what we have here just quickly. I have a private message there. Let me say quickly. Okay. My bro says we should carry on. It looks like he's busy. Where did I stop? Fofana should have gotten a man of the match. He did well. Koulibaly, all of them did, nearly all of them did. Just putting the ball in the back of the net. It's not their field yet. They keep jeopardizing things. They sacked the experts who would have helped them during transition. I think we've moved beyond that mistake. I think things will come together. But Olu, more importantly, I hope you're doing well. Thank you so much for joining. It's good. Todd and Iqbali not there, but waiting for recommendations. You cannot trust 2 heads that paid so much and trusted Potter. Well, can you imagine Enrique versus Guardiola on the touchline? Yeah, it'd be interesting to see. Bring in Enrique and Nagelsmann together. Let's do that. Salto out and big up to you, Kim. So I hope you're doing well. I think Enrique sometimes can find anything, to be honest. Cannot find anything, to be honest. He's sometimes clueless when things don't work. Wow. Maybe I need to pay attention more. Enrique is possession-based, high defensive line, high press. So if you're playing against a low block, you need good one-on-one wingers. Tell me about that. That's been our biggest problem. Clueless Enrique is better than Potter. Enrique is in London. Yep. Nagelsmann would have been good for Chelsea, but how does he deal with the ego? PSG are considering him as well. But this question borders them too. Affected him at Bayern, especially with Müller and Manuel Neuer. Is that the truth, really?
And Real Madrid is considering him as well.
Yeah, so he may well not be too eager for the Chelsea job. But I'm not sure the ego thing is the issue. He fell out with the board. That was what we heard.
I don't think it was.
No, I don't think so. And this is another thing that goes in Enrique's favor. He will never go to Real Madrid. Because
go ahead.
Oh, no. Yeah, exactly. For obvious reasons.
You know, so he is so keen on the Chelsea job. Don't be surprised if he gets it. You know, I'm not saying that he will, but don't be surprised if he gets it. And I wouldn't be alarmed, really, because I think I have to trust what
process.
No, I have to trust the decisions and the inputs of our three directors.
Yeah, that's what I mean. The process. Yeah.
Well, that's becoming a bit of a mock word because of
no,
Potter,
but I meant
tried to avoid it.
Yeah, no, but I meant it because of those are true professionals. They know what they're doing. They know the process.
Yeah.
Julian Nagelsmann in. I know you like him. I like him too. But when you have two good things, if you're asked to choose one, you have to choose one. And I've told you who I would choose if that becomes the case. Enrique never had attackers as good as he had midfielders at Spain. Still, that side was impressive. Ball retention is key in his style because of the high line, high risk, high reward system. Yep. Nagelsmann deals with ego in his own way. That is unbeaten. That's a good argument right there. Like it or not, panel, I am right in saying we are perfectly set up for Lukaku.
No.
And no, just watch him. He answered with a question mark. God help us. Sorry, I used to. And I even read it. I didn't even know. Well, it's the elephant in the room. Enrique won the Champions League.
The room.
Yeah, mammoth. Yeah. Fofana is class. He's a fine player. Hopefully he stays fit. Saul Havertz is the worst player in the world. Okay. Enrique will compensate the Tuchel loss maybe. People should stay away from PSG. I think that club is in trouble. Their project failed. Unfortunately. Let's see. Nagelsmann fell out with who? Mane too. I heard that story too. So I'm not sure, but I'm not going to go into it. I'm not convinced with all our candidates for long term. Enrique might be able to give us a quick turnaround. I would have loved an Italian candidate. They've always they've always given us instant success. Name all of them. They've all won one trophy or the other. Have we had any Italian manager that hasn't won anything? I think there is none. Enrique is a Madrid boy, but played for Barcelona too. Enrique with enthusiasm is a very good thing. He wants to be here. But beyond that, there are other factors, even though I want him. My choice is Luis Enrique. Damien Chineye, Dalawande, thank you so much for finding the time to join the show. I appreciate you all. People who are 65 likes, 35 more to get it to 100. If you haven't, please take a second, drop a like on the stream. And if you want to become a member, it's $2.99 a month. It's been there. Please join to support the channel. If you cannot find, you're still a valued member of the community. God help us if we bring Enrique. Eugene, I like his argument. He comes strong to whatever he doesn't want. Zidane is top candidate for PSG, not Nagelsmann. Mourinho tops the choice for Madrid, according to Sky Sports. Madrid, what is wrong with them? Fire a manager in 2 years' time, bring them back. If Enrique is a creative player like João, it's essential. Okay, if it's essential, he will like João. Nagelsmann isn't a yes man too. He's not. As you can see, for the fact he fell out with the board, but it depends on the reason why he fell out with them. Imagine Nagelsmann. You don't see that, to be honest. Let's see what happens. Nagelsmann is also a bit of a thrill seeker. Really, any para jumping sites around. Oh, he's into that.
Yes.
I didn't know that too. Okay, Havertz and Lukaku are collaborating. Havertz is thinking of the joint to make the fan base cry out for Lukaku. Okay, so let me, Keshawn, since you were here before then, you want to speak on the managers? So I get Rodrigo to speak on the managers. Then we move on strictly to the match review.
Well, as far as the managers, I'm fine with whatever Vibel and Win Stanley them pick. Honestly, I trust their their football acumen. So I go with whoever they pick. Honestly, my bigger concern is who's going to be our next striker, because we need a striker bad. And when you have Ben Chilwell, Reece James, we need. I mean, maybe, but when you have, we have so many guys that could deliver the ball in the box, and no one can hit it. Like that's me.
Have they been delivering that much in the box? The way I haven't seen a lot of delivering in the box the way we played. It's only a few times.
But when you have playmakers like Chilwell and Reece, and we have Enzo in the middle, and Conte and Kovacic, and we're
maybe Enzo. But I want to see it happen before I believe it can happen. That's why. Yeah, go ahead.
No, I'm just saying we have people that can get the ball in the box. We just have no one that can finish it.
Whatever we do, I just don't want us to get a stereotypical striker. Yeah, it has to be again an all-round. Let me just use the term all-round striker. I don't want to cause problem by saying a hybrid striker, but that's why Rodrigo, your choice of all the managers. Sorry, Bobrigo, I nearly said your name wrong. Big up to you, brother. How are you doing? Your choice of the managers. We have Enrique. We're hearing Lampard could come in as a temporary. As a what's it called? What's the term for it? Also, interim manager until the end of the season. And we're hearing that Poch also, is being considered. He's spoken with the club on the phone. Enrique is there in person right now. It sounds like Poch is there in person. Like both are obviously now in London, which means Mauricio Pochettino is also in London. So your thought on all the names being mentioned. If we left any out, you let us know your first choice and why.
Sorry, I was on mute.
No problem, brother.
My first choice, I've got two choices really, is Nagelsmann or Enrique. I lean more towards...
You got to pick one.
If someone put a gun to my head and say pick one, I will go for Enrique. It's not, the difference between them two is not that big. Well, it is big in terms of experience, but in terms of what we want for what we have at Chelsea, I'll say Enrique. The reason I say Enrique, I feel like the players, if it's true what the media is saying, they didn't respect Potter, the blah blah blah. So I want a manager that has that aura, that this is one person that you look at, you know what he's achieved in the past. You no one can question him, and I don't want a manager who's younger than Thiago Silva. One thing that the only red flag some people see as positive, I see as a bit of a red flag, is Nagelsmann he likes to think a lot. He's too clever for his own good sometimes. I don't know how to build consistency in a team, obviously like Bayern, where it's a machine. The players know each other. They've been working together for a long time. Fair enough. And in a team like Leipzig, where the pressure to win wasn't as high as at Bayern or at Chelsea, he can afford to say in 3 games, I'm just making this up, right? I'll play 3-4-3. And then in the next 2 games, I play 4-2-3-1. Or I'll do this. I'll change the way I press. Do you know what I mean? In those type of clubs where the pressure is not as high, it's like I'm not saying it's similar to Potter, but it is like Potter, isn't it? Because at Leipzig, if you don't win the league, no one is gonna question you. But at Bayern, the issue was they said, he wasn't consistent enough, even though he didn't lose that many games. It's just that's the only red flag I have on Nagelsmann. If he comes to Chelsea, is he going to implement a style of play and stick with it? Obviously, I'm not saying you can't change, like even Pep Guardiola changes, but you don't change it every week or every other week. With Enrique, in a negative point, maybe obviously the fact he hasn't worked in club football for a long time. I don't see that as a big deal, to be fair.
But this is still coaching. It's not like he went when I started coaching badminton.
He's a football man. He knows what to do. Maybe the other one is maybe we need to get 1 or 2 players. Again, that is not really major, because the board will back either Enrique or Nagelsmann with 1 or 2 players to come in. So it's very tough in terms of the football on the pitch. Enrique, obviously, we know the style, possession football, but the difference is he's not like Pep, where Pep utilized more the midfield. Enrique realized at Barcelona, I'm gonna bypass the midfield and go straight to the front 3 because obviously you have a front three of Suarez, Messi, and Neymar. You just bypass it and take the best and get the best out of them. So it's interesting. I'm tired of the back three. Actually, that's one of the things. Move away from that. I'm tired of this back three, man.
With a healthy Kante, you could actually use a back four. You can actually have a 4-3-3 or a 4-2-3-1. You have that ability because he is, for all intents and purposes, 1.5 players. Let's be honest here.
Yeah, and plus the club, one of the targets obviously is to get number 6. And I read somewhere they said obviously managers that are interviewing them. Obviously the club will also tell them, like, listen, these are the profile of players that we targeting. What do you think? You know what I mean? In that collaborative way of working. So one of the targets is obviously a number 6 and a striker. So both Enrique and Nagelsmann, those number 6 is one of the key positions for them because they rely a lot.
Where does this leave Zakaria? Is he gone then? Does he go back?
Sorry?
Where does this leave Zakaria?
Zakaria?
Yeah.
Oh, no, send him back. Please. No. Send him back.
I don't think we're not going to sign that guy.
No.
I don't think we're signing him.
Back, man.
It's a shame. I liked him.
Yeah, he's too... No, send him back. Send him back. No. Send him back. Yeah, so that's my opinion.
I think you make a solid argument. I will take Enrique given his experience, but either of the two that... Go ahead.
I'll be over the moon with Nagelsmann. Nagelsmann is almost like he's like a maverick. He's like someone out of character, you know. Even the way he dresses, he's like, you know, he's like he's a special guy. So again, it will be good to see either one will be good.
He's relatable.
They're both excellent managers, and I'll take either one too. Roger, anybody want to add anything to what Rodrigo said before we move on? I really want us to get into the match review.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can.
IBZ, we can hear you now. Okay, go ahead, since you haven't spoken.
You drop.
Yeah. Okay, thank you, brother Roger, for understanding. Go ahead, IBZ. Are you there? It looks like it doesn't look like he can hear us. So Roger, go ahead with what you were saying. It doesn't look like IBZ can hear us, and we can't hear him right now. Roger, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can now.
No, you can go ahead and speak. IBC, we can't hear him. I think he has an audio issue.
So the thing about Nagelsmann, a disadvantage is his age, but it also could be an advantage because he could be more relatable to the players.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I think IBC has audio issue.
Yeah, to a certain extent, I think he's more relatable in that regard. Listen, you cannot buy experience no matter what field of employment you're in. It's as simple as that. I get it. But Nagelsmann has some experience. And, you know, you have to start somewhere. But he's not at the starting gate. He's just in the early stages of his career, let's say. He's got a long road ahead of him. But he's already a proven commodity. And I think when you have this many young players in your squad, I think that they will be able to relate to him more than someone maybe that's in their 50s, 60s, or 70s, if that makes sense. Possibly. I'm not saying it's a done deal in that regard, but I think there's more chance of him being more relatable. That's what I think. That could be potentially an advantage to him with the youth.
Yeah, it could.
But then again, you look at Ancelotti, and Ancelotti, listen, he relates to everyone. So, you know, I'm just generalizing here for the most part.
Yeah. Whatever the board are doing, they need to be careful not to make some mistake again like they did. I'm not sure they're gonna be even before they fired Potter. I'm sure they've learned a very expensive lesson. The fact that they're interviewing multiple managers shows you. The way I'm seeing things, Kai Havertz will miss. What? No. Uzama, be nice, please. Come on, don't say that. Italians are so lucky at Chelsea that even Gianluca Vialli, a player coach, also won trophy while in charge. And may his soul continue to rest in peace. What a player, and he was for us a legend. If you're watching, please, and you haven't, drop a like on the stream. We need 30 more likes to get it to 100, which means we can do that today. Please drop the likes if you haven't. I appreciate that. Let's see what else we have here. Just look at Reece James's disallowed goal if you wanted to see a real striker. Yeah, that was a well-taken goal. Constantin Dante, always nice to see you, Coach. I didn't know that Putin, what? Was one of your hidden stop that. Please, I'm not going to even read it. Don't do that to me, JC, please. There are some stuff, if I read them, actually, it could cause us trouble. But the way Rodrigo said it, that was no issue. It made sense, but don't say that. Spurs, please take your Pochettino back. He may well go back there. Big up to you. Yeah, thank you so much for saying that, Constantine. Always nice to see you. First choice is Enrique, no doubt. Your choice? Okay. Where does big up a saying come from? Big up, I think it's in the English thing, and I started saying it, but I know it means just hello. That's at least that's my explanation of that. If that makes sense. Let's see what we have here. Bayern sacked Nagelsmann because of the terrible the treble, but yesterday it took a loss, ending their treble hopes. Really? Oh, because it was a cup game that took a loss. Yeah, 3-5-2 against who? Against Real Madrid. Okay, Nagelsmann. I'm not sure what that means. Okay, I'm gonna. Sorry, why are we sending Zakaria back again? I don't know, because it doesn't look like we want him.
I think he was saying Nagelsmann had Kimmich as the 6. I think that's what he was trying to say.
No, he had what?
I think the guy with the comment before, I think he said Nagelsmann's 6 was Kimmich. So I think he meant that
What
Kimmich
if he puts in the quotes, it looks like he's talking about height.
No. The other guy before, he did.
Yeah, no, I know he's talking about Eugene, my friend there. Yeah, but that's fine. Aubameyang will thrive under a new manager. Mark my words. I've been marking your words since. If the hierarchy don't like him, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter the manager that comes in. If it's falling out with the board, it would take some convincing for the new manager to tell them, I need them, and they say, okay, let's do it. Zakaria is an injury-prone player, so definitely we will send him back. I think so too. He's not state fit. Yeah, and club will sell some players with bad personality. I think they will. This summer, he has insane results for 35-year-old. Yeah, he's done well. So it takes some people a lot more time to emerge as one of the best managers in the world. Enrique would transform Reece James into a prime Dani Alvarez. Okay, let's see. There are tweets.
Can I add this about Enrique?
Mm-hmm.
It's quite clear that there's a number of interviews taking place that have taken place certainly over the past 2 days.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard one content maker say that what's his name? Nagelsmann is in London as well. I don't know about that. That's what this is, a content creator that we all know. He's just come out with that. But another content creator has just said that very impressively, I've DM'd you, Coach, that Enrique gave a PowerPoint presentation about how he would use each and every single player that we've got. I can see that. I don't know. I wasn't there, but that will definitely add credence to the fact that he's quite keen on the job. The only thing I put a little question mark on is another content creator said that he asked for, among several things which were quite sensible, but he asked for 2 to 3 years almost assurance that for him to create, his footballing style, create the team that he wants, and so on. Now, my rebuttal to that will be, look, after Graham Potter, I think the wisest thing to do will be for him to prove he deserves that.
Exactly.
We can't just go and say, okay, you can have 2 to 3 years. I mean, if it doesn't work, then we're right back to square one.
But if we see that, okay, 2 to 3 years and, he wins a trophy here and there and you can see what he's doing, then of course you can say, listen, mate, okay, after we'll guarantee you after your first season, another season and a season after that. Just like Thomas Tuchel, really, after winning the Champions League and the Club World Cup and the Super Cup, he really earned the right for another season. Unfortunately, all went tits up, but you can see how things can change. So I wouldn't be for guaranteed time, and I'm surprised he would even ask that if it's true.
Yeah, thank you for that update, Bobby. There's a tweet circulating that's from my bro DJ. This is a tweet. There are tweets circulating around that a deal has been done for our new manager, but no name has been mentioned. Okay. I hope Chelsea management will not go and choose another experimental coach. Solomon Akira, thank you for saying that. We are 71 likes now, people. We need 29 more to get it to 100. We can do that. Please keep liking the stream. Let's get it to 100 as soon as possible. Say no to Nagelsmann, not to my club. Hasn't won anything. Too young for a CFC job.
I wanna rebut to that. Nagelsmann is deceptively. It looks like he's inexperienced, but he actually has a lot of experience. He has experience.
Oh yeah.
He has experience taking relegation fighting team all the way to the Champions League, implementing his style. He has experience developing young players and players improving under his tenure. So it's not Nagelsmann is not like Graham Potter, he only had Ostersund, Swansea, Brighton. No, Nagelsmann is someone that he's actually done it. He's actually taken Hoffenheim, Leipzig, Bayern. You can see a progression in his career. So at Chelsea is another step. No disrespect to Bayern. Bayern is a massive club, but in the league they are in, they're kind of like the biggest club there. So
they're bigger than us. Let's be honest, domestically and internationally.
In terms of
pressure,
we
can hear you now. IBC, go ahead. You can. Go ahead, Rodrigo.
I don't know. I was going to finish in terms of pressure. There's more pressure at Chelsea than at Bayern, I would say, because at Chelsea you're competing against Man City, you're competing against actual other big teams. Like at Bayern, you can almost like Niko Kovac won the league there. So it's not easy. I'm not going to discredit his achievement there, but he's done a lot as well. So anyways, I'll let IBC go.
IBC, can you hear us?
Man. Yeah.
Okay, big up, brother. Yeah.
Big up, man. Sorry about earlier, man. Just
no worries.
Where I was. Yeah, man. Hope we're all good, man. We got a new gaffer, innit? We're getting a new gaffer now, innit? Potter's gone, innit? Hey, how do you all feel about that? I feel a bit indifferent.
I'm not sure I'm able to explain how I feel about that.
Yeah, I feel a bit indifferent. How is the new owners going to sell or pitch, or how are the new manager going to want to? I mean, you kind of mess it up for the next man coming in, innit? No, I mean, if a guy wants to come in and build his philosophy and build a sustainable football club with the team, how would he get assurances if we let go of managers under 7 months or so? Albeit, results aren't working well, or albeit the manager's not communicating with you. What is the assurances that Nagelsmann, me, Barney the dinosaur, whoever walks into the club and say they want a job, what are the assurances that I will get that my job will not end in 8 months? If maybe the players don't want to play for me for a minute and the results don't go my way. What assurances will I have?
They respect Barney.
Yeah, you know what I'm trying to say to you? I kind of fed up for the next gaffer. Nagelsmann, Enrique, whoever it is, I don't give a dash who comes. Whoever comes, in it. But like I say, if he comes, the assurances that Enrique will need and Nagelsmann will need will be not just to sack me under 12 months, because it's looking like that's our ethos. And if we agree that that's the ethos we want to go, then where do we go as a club? I mean, is this sustainable?
It's not really.
No,
let me
land. Yeah, we said this about Parr. We said this about Parr before he walked in. Yeah, he's done well. He's an upgrade, or he's doing well. We're going to say this about the next man, and the next man, the next man. But the question is, where does it stop? What if Luis Enrique comes in and it takes him, I don't know, 6 months to kind of get his message across, 6 months to hit the language barrier perfectly? These are the concerns that I have, that I think our owners will not give time, and I want them to. Like, you've not given this guy time, so you need to pitch something to Nagelsmann. You need to pitch something to Enrique or any of your managers that you're going to give them less, that you're going to give them more time than you give this guy, because this guy, you're walking into rubbish. You're walking into.
They need to pitch to us. We don't need to pitch anything.
Yeah. No. You're correct there. You're correct there. You need to pitch to us. But at the end of the day, we are the ones looking for a manager. Yes, we are the ones.
Yes,
so
but they need to tell them how they can elevate this team.
Yeah, we need to give them assurance. Yeah, I understand, but we also need to give them assurances that whilst you are in here, your job security is that you're going to be looking over your shoulder of your job.
They'll point to Potter. Look at Brian Potter's record.
It's about credibility.
I understand, but credibility.
Give
At the end of the day, all of these guys have coaching badges. There's not different coaching badges. They all got UEFA Pro license coaching badges. So it's not like credibility or credibility.
No, I'm talking about the ownership.
Okay,
I'm talking about the ownership credibility.
Okay.
Are you saying they didn't give Potter enough time?
No. I'm saying that they were very quick to pull the plug on anything.
No, they weren't quick. Actually, they were very slow.
Very slow. Again. Well, that depends on who you're asking. I think they were quick to pull the plug on Tuchel, but we moved. They were quick to pull the plug on when we moved. You see the next guy, are they going to be quick to pull the plug on him if things don't go away? I mean, if it smells like a duck, it quacks like a duck. Lads, it's a duck. We are no different to
Waddles like a duck.
We pulled the plug quicker. We sacked 2 gaffers. Within a season. Okay, moving forward, maybe, their teething period, they're getting used to it. What is the guarantee that the next manager if he goes through a teething period, 1, we are not going to call his head. B, the manager or the owners are not going to sling the hook at the first turn of.
That's what I've been saying.
Take off running.
I fear where we are going right now. But aside from the negativity, we've got a new gaffer on the way. I don't mind who it is. I don't care who it is. I really wanted Mourinho. I wanted someone that kind of knows the thing, that will kind of instill something to the squad. But we can't get that in it. It looks a bit far-fetched, but even if it is for a temporary deal, or let's say 1 or 2 years, getting him in, is still a little bit of that Chelsea mindset into these players, so they know what one. That will help for the next man to pick it up and then take it further for another decade or so. That's what I would want. But it's okay, we move. The squad is very, very big. I mean, if you look at the squad we have, it is very, very massive. And I mean, any coach that can take all that squad and say they want to get the best out of them, God help you. I remember when Tottenham had a similar situation when they sold Gareth Bale and they brought in the whole world and their army to the club, and they couldn't even get the best out of nothing until God knows when. But it is what it is. I believe that the next manager will need to have assurances. I don't care who it is, but just give this guy assurances. Because I don't want to be here 12 months' time. Like I said 12 months ago, I don't want to be here again. And please, God, they look at me. I don't want to be here again saying, I want this guy, I want this guy, I want this guy. Because it will turn out to be a joke. So I just want the next guy we pick is we stick with him. Please, guys, let's stick with the next guy, man. Are you guys not tired of running?
If we're seeing progress and seeing result, let's stick with that person.
Exactly.
If we're seeing result and seeing progress, and there's no questions with regards to their ability to be whether they're the right man or not, we'll stick with the person. If we're doing well,
I heard that. I hear you.
I mean, they was trying to stick with Potter, but he just couldn't get
it. You know what though? But you know what? With Potter, when you say you're going to stick with someone, okay, you got to give him to the end of the season. Or if you're going to let him go 2 to 3 weeks ago when you have an international break, so you can actually bleed in the next manager. That was my whole contention.
Plan well. The tracking didn't make sense the way they came at the time. Nobody expected it. Yeah. Let's move on. Let's get. We got to get into the match review because we don't have too much time now. Say no to Nagelsmann, not my club. Hasn't won anything. Too young for the club. Okay. Big up to you, Nee.
I have that concern as well, but he's got a UEFA Pro license, so boy, he's more.
Yeah, exactly. And plus, he's done well. Really, he's done well, and I don't think he's won something. Luis Enrique has just won more than him. He took Leipzig to the semi-final stages of the Champions League. Correct me if I'm wrong. And he won the Bundesliga last season, didn't he?
Yeah.
Did he?
Yeah, he did.
He did actually.
Nagelsmann.
Yeah,
and he
I
also
think
won the cup with
he's a good manager
Leipzig.
too. Yeah, my
The cup with
preference of. Yeah, go ahead.
I think he won like the FA Cup in Germany, the FA Cup equivalent with Leipzig. I think.
Yeah, but we see the problem. No, I don't have a problem with anyone. I don't know him from Adam. The fear I have is that a young man may take longer to learn on the job than someone that's experienced. And I don't mean that
the
into
age
the
simply
club.
means he still has something to learn,
Yeah,
no matter how you see it.
I think I heard earlier, like there's an ego he has, which is fine. You gotta have an ego, bro. We're in a business where you're managing egos, 22 to 25 egos. You're gonna have to have some sort of clout yourself. But I think there's an immaturity clout there that with a big club like Bayern, he didn't know how to handle himself. I mean, he clashed with players like you don't clash with Neuer, Mane, Muller, Thomas Muller, everyone's favorite friend in Bavaria. Like he doesn't get angry with nobody, and it seems that he had a clash of personalities with everyone. So that's a fear factor that I have, that coming into our club, that may be a situation. Now, if we give this guy 10-year deal or 5-year, 6-year deal, we're not going to give him a 2-year deal. Let's be realistic here. The new manager's going to come, not signing a 2-year deal. It's going to be +3. So if we sign a new manager on a +3 year deal, what happens if it, So I just have a fear with Nagelsmann. But anyone else, maybe I don't want Enrique. I don't want him.
All right.
But yeah.
All right. I'm going to scroll to the very bottom after reading a few comments. Please go check out Nissan's YouTube channel. Click the 3 dots by his name. Go to channel. Make sure to subscribe. Good content. He streams every day. I think usually 4 hours from now, he will tell you better in the chat himself. I don't know how true those tweets are. I have my doubts about the tweets there. If we don't let them announce the manager already, but I'm suspecting the club wants a new manager in before the Real Madrid game. I'm just happy that we're getting a manager that makes Roger redundant and doesn't make Bobby turn into the Incredible Hulk live on stream. Happy times. Yeah, okay. Coach, have you seen the Tuchel's interview that was conducted in India? He was interviewed by the doctor who treated him. He said a lot of the treatment was to help him with stress and not drug rehab. I think it's easy to draw conclusions there, but we'll move on from there. As he should. Okay, Bolly wants Enrique, but wants Nagelsmann. Okay, I'm going to scroll to the very bottom now. We just have to move on to that one. My only concern is Nagelsmann's appointment will be that he will come to CFC barely 1 week after being sacked and managing a team which just recently went through bad results and a sacked coach. Okay. I'm going to go to the very bottom. Apologies, guys. So let's get into the match review. Rodrigo, I'm going to start with you because you haven't spoken quite a lot. And Don Potter, nice to see you. Gabriel A., big up to you, everyone else. Apologies for those, again, that I had to skip your comments in the chat. We don't have too much time left. And the banner says what we're here, mainly what we're here to do is to review the match. Rodrigo, your thoughts, what happened? Would you have done anything differently?
No.
What happened in that game?
Yeah, I think when I saw the lineup, I understood why the manager tried to do. I mean, that's his first ever lineup, right? So he's not an experienced manager, he's never done it before. Mm-hmm. He want to be conservative, and maybe he's a semi-pro. Graham Potter would have taken. Maybe he's sometimes the managers they say, "Oh no, we only look at the next game." But secretly, I believe they do plan maybe 2-3 games ahead. Maybe this was in the plan, so they probably knew when we play Liverpool, this is when we'll give and goal will start, and then we'll play this and play that formation. So in terms of that, I wasn't really. Let's say I wanted to see more pace in attack. I wanted to, so in the front three, I wanted to have a front three rather than a two. But again, I understood why they did that. So I would have started Enzo, and I didn't know Kante could have started the game. So my preferred lineup would have been Enzo and Kovacic, and Sterling in attack. But I understood why he went for what he did. In terms of the game itself, we dominated Liverpool. I mean, we should have won that game.
Yeah, the stat says so. XG is 2.17. They didn't even get up to 1. 12 of the shots, so there are 4 big chances.
We created chances to win. The Kovacic one, Havertz, even Havertz, the one that the disallowed one.
Even Felix, the one he bought the rugby union would be proud of. But go ahead.
Yeah, the one, the handball one. Yeah, why didn't Havertz just like leaning with his chest? It's because obviously he's not a goal scorer. A goal scorer would know. They would know. Like I can't use my hand here. Yeah. I need to use any other part of my body. He could have leaned into it. He could have done something else.
Yeah. But I think it was too sudden. I think in terms of that one, I was saying,
mate.
Deciding what to do with the ball. He couldn't actually.
Attempt.
Yeah, I think
he should have made the first attempt.
I think he get like brain freeze when he's in the box. Him and Kovacic. That Kovacic chance is a goal. Any other
confidence.
The low on confidence. But in terms of the Bruno, I think he set up the team well. Funny thing is, the Aston Villa and Liverpool games, if I take Aston Villa, for example, Graham Potter's last game, I think we played well, actually. We actually played well. I enjoyed watching the game. I wasn't angry. I was angry at the individual, the players, how they were performing, but I was
frustrating.
Yes, that's the word. Yeah. And I saw in the Aston Villa game as well. It wasn't as poor as other people make it sound. Like, we were so.
It wasn't poor. It wasn't. We should have been up by the time Cucurella scored. By the time Cucurella made that mistake, we should have been up a goal or two.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I think that in terms of the performance, the underlying matrix, yes, we are.
That's our MO, guys. That's our MO all season for the last 2 seasons, basically.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. It's one of those games I don't think people should dwell on too much and get too angry, because we all know the process we're in, getting a new manager. This was a matter of don't lose or don't get beaten too badly.
So you think a new manager will make these guys more clinical up front?
No.
Okay.
Over time. No. I tell you what.
There will take some adjustments, maybe.
Listen, over time. Listen, you have an amalgamation of all these players, let's be honest, individually and collectively, that are not confident. They're very low on confidence. But over time, when you instill a certain concept of playing forward and maybe different running patterns and opportunities will open up. And once you score, the floodgates open. And over what we're looking for is a consistency over a longer period of time. That can indeed transpire. Just because you have one bad season doesn't mean for the rest of your career you're going to. You look at Liverpool. You have Salah. He's a number 10 basically. He's not a number 9. He puts in 20 plus goals each season. You don't have to have a number 9 to succeed. A prototypical number 9, I mean. Does that make sense? Like if we had Kane, for instance, or Ivan Toney from Brentford this whole season or last season, I think we'd be far more clinical. These 2 players, for instance, I'm just using them as examples, that they are clinical at their core. This is what they do. They put the ball in the back of the onion bag. That's what they do. And that's what we need. And I think it's contagious also to a certain extent. So I think there's a chance that...
Let's say this, Roger, since you're speaking now, I think for the manager to solve the goal scoring issue, because like I've said this before, chances are if the new manager comes in, players will, move to another game, probably will start scoring chances. But I think we're a bit too selfish up front. But let me just ask you this. What do you think the new manager would do differently to solve the issue? For me, I think he will need to do some reshuffling, change things up a bit, up there a bit. But your thoughts?
Usually, like you look at a Thomas, he brought in Rudiger, for instance, that was on the outside looking in. I'm trying to think who. I mean, listen, he could start Pierre-Emerick. You don't know. He could be. I just don't see it because every time I watch him play, his legs are gone. But you never know. He could change formations. That could be a big deal. It happened for Conte after that 3-0 drubbing to Arsenal. Sorry to mention that. We went to a back 3 and voila, the rest is history, as they say. So it all depends. He may not tinker with hardly anything. It all depends. By the way, it's not just the front. It's not just the front players that need to score. It needs to come from all over the bloody pitch, with the exception of the keeper. It needs to come from the defense.
Everyone scores besides our front players. Reece is a threat. Reece is a threat.
I agree.
Ben Chilwell's a threat. All these guys are a threat except the people that we have up front that need to score.
But it has, exactly. The amount
we rely too much on our defense to score.
Yeah, we generate so many corners over the course of the last couple of seasons, and we don't seem to be putting, winning balls in the air in corners. And I'm not just talking about scoring, but at least test the bloody keeper. Time after time, we don't even test the keeper. Whereupon historically we used to, with the amount of centre-backs we used to have in the last 10, 20 years. That has not been the case the last few years. And so that needs to change, whether it's because of how they approach attacking the ball, whether it's zonally or man-to-man, things need to change in that regard. Midfield, I love Kova, but he couldn't hit the side of a barn if his life depended on it. He's not that clinical. And when he does score, they're worldies, don't get me wrong, but listen, in the Villa game, he took a shot and it went out for a throw-in. That's shocking. That needs to stop. That needs to stop. As a professional, listen.
It's just funny, but go ahead. I know know. Go ahead.
And listen, it can happen to the best of them. I'm sure Messi, all the greats in the world historically have done things like this. They're human. If you cut them, they bleed. I get it. But we're talking about on a consistent basis, this transpires. You're right. Scoring in rugby, maybe they're in the wrong sport because they're not even coming close to the crossbar. Let's be honest here. I'm saying this out of frustration, as you can hear with my voice. It's frustrating to see the amount of opportunities creating, and damn well when you're watching it. Let's be honest. When you're speaking to yourself, you're going to he's going to miss, or he's going to strike it right at the keeper. Test the bloody keeper. When I say test him, not straight at him, in the corner, low or high. When I say high, I'm talking about below the bar. Okay, let's be clear here. And it's so frustrating that we have a lot of good players, but they're either not clinical or B, they're very low on confidence collectively also, and that needs to change. And maybe this new coach can change that. Implement coaching regimes that more emphasis on testing the keeper. Now, I think it was Bruno or someone else was saying in an interview yesterday that we have no problem scoring in practice. They score all the time. But when the game time comes, they don't do it. So that tells me that it's a psychological issue.
It is. Sean, do you think we can... it is indeed. I think because they get in good positions. Sometimes they're a bit too selfish. Sometimes they don't look up to find a better position, the teammate. Sometimes the shooting looks like that's the first time they're playing football. It doesn't make sense. Okay, Sean, I'll go back to Rodrigo and then Bobby.
Can I just say one other thing? Can I just say one other thing very briefly? And we got to admit, though, if you notice lately, quite often the player of the match is usually the opposition's goalkeeper too. So usually we bring out the best of the bloody opposition's goalkeeper. That's also frustrating.
Brother, you're really not nice today.
But it's the truth. It's bloody
I believe you. Just quickly, Chelsea was not quick to sack Potter. In fact, too late compared to Crystal Palace, who I felt could have waited a bit. Todd Bowley wants attacking football, and Enrique suits him. Okay. I cannot believe we played Hazard again a full game, and he was slow, sluggish, looked horrible. I think he looks tired too, for being honest. But Dante, big up to you, brother. Felix again, all dribble, no end product. As usual, again, a full game as well. I don't get it. I think he needs to be more disciplined with his approach, not to, again, overdo anything. Havertz in the box, moving like Susek. Yeah. Potter got all blame when you know that our attackers aren't clinical. I'm not going to go into that argument right now. Sterling, 85th minute. Liverpool looked like they were not interested at all. They were horrible. I think they have given up on Klopp. Maybe that may well be the case, and that may well have been the reason why he changed quite a lot to see if things will go his way. Play Aubameyang, then we will score. Okay, I hope he gets a chance. Havertz is celebrating after that handball. Was just crazy. You do that. You don't want to say. You don't want to go. You want him to go ask the ref, is it the hand or should I celebrate? Is that what you want him to do? We have the players. Just these coaches are horrible. Continually playing them when they are not of form. Not giving orders a go. I think that's another argument you can bring up. Hopefully, Arsenal are lulled into a false sense of security by that Liverpool performance. We want to see another 7 from that score. I think Liverpool will beat Arsenal. I think we'll beat Arsenal. I think Man City will beat them. I think they will bottle the league. I have not been watching, so my opinion is totally mine. Okay, positives. We played out from the back very well. We were brave. I give the team that. Koulibaly and Fofana can do a job in the back four. Koulibaly is improving. I've never doubted him. He's a fine player, and overall, he had a good game. Zakaria, Kante, and Enzo should be our midfield 3.
Yeah.
With Zach at the pivot. I think Enzo gets the pivot. I'm sorry, but this Bruno is a puppet. Like I said, it didn't feel that much different as if we had Potter or not. He said it himself practically. Yeah, even said, why would he go on to say it feels weird to stand on the touchline without Potter by his side?
He's thrown in the deep end, poor chap. You got to give him some respect. Yeah,
he's what?
You got to get. He's thrown in.
No, what was that you said? Sorry, I didn't get that.
He was thrown in at the deep end. You know, this is his first time.
Yeah.
No, we shouldn't be criticizing him. He's out of his depth, poor chap, and he did the best he could. And kudos to him. He's a professional, and I don't think it's fair for us to criticize him in any shape or fashion.
I agree with you, but we're just saying again. Him saying, I know, people when he said the lads gave it all.
Yeah, I know, because it's a generic talking point, isn't it? And let's be fair, it's not his. Is he Spanish? He has a Spanish accent.
I think he is. Yeah, I think he is.
He has a Spanish accent, so it's not his first language, even though he's fluent, though, I must admit. But yeah, I laughed. I was like, really? I'm like, really? You said that? I'm like,
you have to say that, yeah. We got 30 to 34 million if we get for Hazard. I'm not sure. You mean buy him back? He needs to go as soon as possible.
Sell him.
Okay, sell him. Hazard or Havertz?
Havertz.
Okay, I didn't read that right. Okay. And all your team are full of cowards. Let's see, 1966. Oh, my goodness. When was the last time when an opposition goalkeeper was man of the match? Factually, we cannot remember. Can we finally get over this spot train? He is a nice person. And we're not a Potter fan community, but here's the thing: it will still keep coming up until we hire a new manager for a while. Exactly. After that, we'll still talk about Toko. Bruno is just bald Potter. Okay,
he looks like Higuain.
That's funny.
Yeah. Okay, so let me ask you this: for you, the game yesterday, what are your thoughts? Before I go back to Rodrigo, I want Rodrigo to tell me whether he thinks we can overcome the goal scoring issues when a new manager comes in. But before I do that, Keshawn, your thoughts on the game?
This game is more the same, just like every other game. We have possession. Yep. We dominate possession. We get opportunities. We can't finish. And then all of a sudden the defense makes...
I think possession ended 50-50. But in the first half, I think we played better.
Yeah. Regardless, we still had chances, and we don't do anything with them. It just happens every game. And luckily, Liverpool didn't capitalize, and luckily, they're terrible too, because any other team probably would have scored on us.
Yeah.
So,
but then again,
so the question I want to ask you: what are the chances that this improves under a new manager?
I mean, I think we'll have an actual system that these players can play in, but as far as up front, I don't think it's going to change anything until we get a finisher in the summer.
We need a finisher. That's what you think. You think it won't work without a finisher?
Yeah, it's not. I don't think he's just that. I don't think he's as simple as just get a finisher.
No, it's got to be collectively from all over the pitch.
Yes,
that's another part of it. But Rodrigo, your thoughts? Do you think that issue can be sorted easily if we stay the same? If we don't reshuffle things, or if we don't Because I'm into us getting a finisher, but what sort of finisher? But your thoughts?
Yeah, I'll give you an example. Yeah, like for example, Brighton. Yeah, Brighton under Potter used to have the same issue. They were king of XG, and then the new manager comes in, and suddenly they start scoring a lot more goals. So, someone like what's the Brighton winger? March. It's gone like
Solly March, right?
Yeah, Solly March. Yeah, like 2 years or 3, whatever, without scoring a goal, and then the guy comes in, and suddenly his form changes. Maybe
Matoma, when Trossard left, Matoma exploded.
Exactly. So I think the coach can also improve that. So it's a combination of a lot of things. Maybe you get in a striker that fit in with the system, because Graham Potter's never used a traditional striker. He's not a fan of that.
The guy I want is Koulibaly. I think.
Yeah, you might like him, but the manager that we will get in the future.
They might not
like him. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, you have to look at the profile of the manager that we're getting.
I think he will play good because he's kind of like a hybrid. Like he's not.
Yeah. But the good thing is both Nagelsmann and Luis Enrique like strikers. Different characteristic of strikers, but they do like strikers. Actually, if you think about Enrique, really like Morata. I'm not saying Morata is probably the best Spanish striker. And then
could you get the best out of Lukaku? Sorry,
I'm not sure. Lukaku is not his sort of player.
It's not. Maybe I think Nagelsmann. Can Nagelsmann do that? I don't want Lukaku.
I don't think Nagelsmann.
I don't know. But Nagelsmann used strikers. Nagelsmann do use. He used strikers. He had Poulsen at Leipzig, and then he also had Choupo-Moting and used them. No. He used Poulsen as the target man and Werner to run off him. And then
Werner scored 34 goals for him.
Yeah, he did. But I'm saying as a striker, the center forward was.
I get number 9.
Yeah. Werner was just the second, and then Bayern as well. He has Choupo-Moting, so I think he lacks the target man, a striker. So I think both Enrique and Nagelsmann have used in the past. The reason we were arguing in the past saying we need the fluid approach is because the manager that we had never used a striker like that. Tuchel's never used Tuchel really doesn't use strikers like that. Obviously, Bayern now
doesn't. Yeah.
And then Potter also didn't use a striker like that. So obviously, our argument in the past was the manager don't use strikers like that. So why would you get the ones that we're going to get in the future? Can.
So could Lukaku be successful for us next year, hypothetically, if under either of those managers? That's the question.
I think Lukaku has to improve his fitness first.
Oh yeah, sure. But I'm saying, do you think is it viable? Is it viable, or is it just so unrealistic?
I think it is. So I think Lukaku he's burned a lot of bridges at Chelsea.
His ship has sailed, right?
Yeah, I think for him to go to the owners and beg for transfer, that was bad. That's not good.
He quite a lot.
Yeah.
So we're going to lose 100 million on him.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not. Wow. Well, it's not really 100 million for Todd Bowley, is it? Todd Bowley.
Yeah, because didn't Roman pay that off or something?
No.
Yeah, it's a Roman.
Or he cleared the debt.
We still owe Milan 60 million or something, don't we, Coach?
Around that number, yeah, but it should be less now.
Yeah,
I'm not. The loan fee, 50 million then. Yeah, it's still a lot of golf balls, chaps.
Yeah, I don't think there's much to talk about this game, really. Overall, the truth is, it wasn't a perfect performance, but we played well, but just couldn't put away our chances. I wanted us to look at Koulibaly's numbers and Kante's numbers. After you speak, go ahead, Roger.
Yeah, I tell you, listen, you can't judge Kepa. He had basically nothing to do. I thought his distribution was excellent, as always.
There was one error, though. Who was that? And he was out of his line when he made that mistake. And you had the Liverpool player gotten the kick right. He wouldn't get to the post and the ball would be at the back of the net.
I see what you're saying. But he also had one very, very good read as a sweeper keeper in the first half also. I thought Fofana looked like a different player. He looked like the player I've been expecting.
It didn't look he's been out. It didn't look as if he's been out for a while.
No, listen, I know he's got injury issues, but he's so young. You need to remember that, and hopefully he has a long, sustainable career with us. But I was very impressed with him. Reece, to me, looked like a player possessed. He looked like he's back to normal, back to his fittest. Yeah, he may have waned off in the latter parts of the game, but that's match fitness. And the same could be said for Kanté. Kanté, the first 45 was outstanding. You could tell after 60 minutes he was getting winded a bit, but that's only natural. I thought that they stood out tremendously. And then obviously those are the positives, and you know what the negatives are. We've already gone over them. There's the lack of finishing. I thought it was sloppy at certain times also. So we gave the ball away needlessly for the most part. But other than that, you have to consider, though, we're playing against a depleted back three for them. And we just didn't capitalize on it. But I thought there was some positives from individualistic perspectives from players returning from injuries. And I thought it was something that we can really look forward to going forward. I really liked that. I was pleasing to see. That's what I have to say.
Bruno, not an 18-year-old kid. He's been around, experienced, but the main argument is that he hasn't picked a lineup. Take your chance. Don't be super puppet simple. Yeah, I wouldn't listen to Graham Potter again. I would do anything my own way. Potter is gone, but I don't know. Nobody's sure whether I listen to him. And the lineup. Go ahead.
Did you? I want to ask you a question. Do you think he did well with the lineup?
I think he did well. And there's a chance Potter had no hand in it, but with the way he spoke, you could argue he probably consulted him and asked for advice.
I thought he had a headpiece in. No,
yeah, go ahead.
I thought he did well. I mean, it was nothing radically different. I didn't know what to expect, to be honest with you, but I didn't think it was that bad, other than I was doubtful about Cucurella. I thought Badiashile should have started, but other than that, I thought he did well.
Cucurella played well yesterday.
Yeah, he did actually. I'm not his biggest fan.
I didn't expect him to do that well, I have to be honest.
And he looked disciplined. Did you know this? He didn't go wandering. He didn't go walkies. I thought he actually was disciplined. He stuck to his area, and I thought he contained Salah when Salah came on. I thought he did well.
I suspected it was going to be a huge risk. It wasn't. Maybe in hindsight, again, it would have been a huge risk had Salah been on the pitch earlier. But we don't know. But that's, by the way, take your chances. Yep. How come the good old boys club is willing to give Potter another job at Leicester City, but Vieira is not put into the hiring rotation? I'm not sure. Is Leicester looking to hire Graham Potter? I'm not sure. I will change a lot. Havertz gone, maybe striking, and Felix gone. Go ahead. You were saying something, Roger.
Yeah, James Ollie reported that I think Potter turned down the Leicester job already. He said that he doesn't want to entertain any new job offers till the end of the season. According to, I think it was James Ollie. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I could have sworn it was from him.
Yeah, I don't know who that is.
He's on ESPN. He's a journalist in London based, and he's on ESPN Plus a lot. You'll recognize him. If you see him, you'll recognize him. Oh. They either call him Ollie or James, but his name is James Ollie.
Yeah, I don't know him. Let's see what we have here. I hope the new manager brings in a hypersonic hypnotist coach in which in with him so he can make Havertz believe his Haaland. Maybe. I'm sorry for those who thought Bruno Salto would do a magic because he has no hair like Pep, and just go away. Just go away, please. Enrique, like strikers? No, I don't think so. Arsenio was a striker for Spain.
Oh my God.
I'd like Ruben Amorim over anyone, new special one. He's untested really quite well, if you want to say that. Positive talks on the phone yesterday. CFC admires his ideas. Commander must be signed in midfield. I believe CFC needs better options in wide areas. Want a mobile striker. Are you talking about Enrique? I'm guessing Enrique. Positive talks on the phone yesterday. Okay, I think that's repeating. Okay, let's see what else we have here. The last person to score a goal against Liverpool in this in this series that did not play. Who was that? And our record with them of late has been crazy. Draw. All Premier League games, all
consecutive draws. Yeah, 4 consecutive.
Yeah, 1-1 draw, 2-2 draw, and this one is 0-0 draw. I think one is missing here. Probably if I go them for that, I could see more.
By the way, coach. Kante's last 3 home games at the Bridge have been all under different managers.
It might be his next at the Bridge could be another manager.
Yeah, it was Tuchel, Potter, and now Bruno.
Yeah, and our next game at home is Brighton, and that is in 2 weeks' time.
Yeah, it could very well be another new. That would be 4 home. That's incredible, isn't it?
Yeah, that's some statistics on its own. The last person, who was that in particular? Can you mention? Did anybody say that? Like I said, Enrique wants his own players. It sounds like he doesn't rate our wingers and midfielders. Wow. Okay. Sorry to say, but he that cannot be named. Will get to preseason with the new manager, and if they like each other, we're gonna hold an L. I hope that doesn't happen. But that's not. By the way, I'm gonna move on from quite. If Bali brings in Enrique, I will start seriously doubting it.
Really?
In our success. Okay. Let's see what else. I'm going to scroll to the very bottom. Constantine, our coach plays well when other teams are horrible. Yes. Couch, he said. Who? It's best at Chelsea wait until the end of the season to bring a manager in. Nagelsmann and Enrique as our only option right now is bad.
Why wait till the end of the season if both of them are available and both of them want to come now?
Yeah, you get them, and probably they believe that we can still win the Champions League.
And we're in the quarters, exactly.
Yeah. So they want a manager in before that game. That's how I see it. If that makes sense. Kukurea, I mean, okay. Thank you for saying that. So with that, Eugene, just having a conversation. I think we're gonna round off with this. Anybody want to say anything else with regards to the game there? Bobby is at work, so if you wanted to speak, you would have said something.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, not necessarily with regard to the game, but with regard to the rumor about Enrique's presentation. I seem to be talking him up a lot, which is, I mean, what I'm hearing is because what I'm hearing is swaying me a bit, and a little bit, very marginally, but a little bit. If it's true that he gave a presentation of his intentions for each player, then it tells me he's been watching the team, and that's very encouraging, because it means he's going to come in with a certain understanding and knowledge of the team. Potter came in and he knew nothing about the team, hadn't been watching the team. They hadn't been his focus because he was Brighton manager. And yet again, that would be a handicap with Nagelsmann. And that's probably one of the things that's making him want to wait till the summer, because at least he'll get to know the team close up in pre-season. Whereas it seems, if these rumors are to be believed, that Enrique has studied the team already. And though a pre-season with the team is always helpful, he could be better equipped to do a bit of a Tuchel, just get parachuted in to do a decent job until he has time with the players.
And Bobby, to add to your point as well, because we need to trim down the squad. So if a manager already has an idea of that, speed up that process, because we need to get rid of a lot of players in the summer. So rather than having spending that process about 2-3 weeks in pre-season, that process can begin now if he joins, and he already knows, like you said, he's done like deep dive on each players and profile, how he's going to use them in his system. So there's positive in the manager knowing in advance and doing the research on players.
Absolutely.
They're serious. Yeah.
He clearly.
Anybody want to add anything else? Yeah, go ahead, Bobby, if you're still speaking. Sorry.
I was just going to drop with, he clearly seems to really want the job, and that I like very much. He's pushing for the job. You know, I like people that like my club, you know, and want to be there. That always
like Tuchel. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh gosh, yeah. You know, that
Yeah. I get it,
always
Bobby.
wins. Yeah, that wins me over, wins every single Chelsea fan over. And you know, Tuchel proved himself and some in that department. That's why we loved him so much.
Do you think he was invited to London? You don't think do you think he was invited to London, or you think obviously because of the way it took his own initiative and say, right, I'm serious about this job, and I'll come meet you face to face?
No, I don't think he did a Peter Odemwingie. I still remember that guy. He just turned up at QPR. No, he wouldn't do that.
God!
He was definitely invited, wasn't he? Yeah.
Yeah, he would have been invited for sure. I mean, who does that? He wouldn't have just come. I mean, where would he go to meet these guys in the first place? No, it was a formal invitation.
Just got to stand outside Stamford Bridge.
Can you imagine that? That would disqualify him straight up, because that's such a dumb thing to do.
Yeah, thank you so much, all the panelists and all those in the chat. I appreciate you all. It's been an excellent show. We didn't talk much about the game, but that's not a surprise, because there's much to talk about, really.
It's a nothing game. We're gonna forget about it.
Yeah. So thank you to everyone. Thank you to Roger. Thank you to the New York guy, Keshawn. Thank you to Rodrigo. Thank you to Bobby. Thank you to IBZ, who was also on the panel. Thank you to everyone in the chat. Constantine Dante. Thank you to Eugene, God of Frogs, Panda, Lateness is Greatness. Where's the progress on Nagelsmann, this interim coach? And we're not sure. Thank you to everyone in the chat. The Blue Tiffle game. If Bobby is happy, Roger is unemployed, and Rodrigo is still smiling, then Chelsea is in a good place of the Chelsea. Big up to everyone else in the chat. If I haven't said hello to you, apologies. I'm only human. I have to run. And I didn't read that much, even though I tried, but I didn't read as much as I would loved to read. I'm still feeling a bit of pain in my tooth. JC, much love to you, brother. I love you so much. Mikai, who was here. Rafael Botko, much love to everyone else. Constantine Dante, what's more, Real James, DJ. See you guys next time. God bless us all, and bye.